Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
Of course, everything's broken
Hello.
now. Yeah. Hold on.
There's
Welcome,
two of
everybody.
me now.
There's two. Yeah. Let me. That Nakara is now Darsh twice. Professional Strum, guys. Professional Strum.
This is quality you can expect from a partnered Twitch streamer.
Partner Twitch streamer. That's exactly.
Congratulations on that.
Yeah,
professional.
indeed.
Let me fix this. Anyways, welcome to the Astro Pub. My name is Paul. This is the Astro Pub, your space bar at the end of Twitch. We're doing our Captain's Table podcast, which is a Star Citizen podcast, done for the community, with the community, not necessarily, for the benefit of the community. It's just, we're just here.
We're actually just here for the money.
Yeah, we're here totally for the money. Take the money and run, just like CIG, right?
So now that you're partnered, we all get a slice of this, right?
Yeah.
So-
Your
I'm
checks
out
in the
here.
mail. Your checks in the mail.
Yeah. Okay. So-
Yeah.
Right.
Wait, I want PayPal.
Dude, you think I've got the money for PayPal?
Yes.
Shh! Don't tell them that. All right, so that should be fine now.
Nope.
Hold on.
Nope, done it twice.
Wait for it.
Still two of me.
Wait for it.
I was gonna click and everybody's gonna be me.
There we go.
Aww.
There we go. There's Eric. Hey, Eric. You're welcome.
Hey.
Someone's echoing as well? Someone have us on speakers?
Not me.
Ooh.
Talkie.
Ducky.
Yeah, there's still an echo. Let me see
I
who's
think.
echoing.
Yeah.
Talkie. It's Fast Card.
Did me? I'll lower my volume or something.
Okay.
Because I'm not green when... Okay.
Talkie. You're good now.
Ducky.
Excellent.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, I
guys.
didn't do anything. Wasn't me.
All right.
Okay.
So yeah, welcome to the Captain's Table. Professional Strum. Had some issues here earlier, so now we're good though. Your spacebar at the end of Twitch, doing the Captain's Table stuff. We're gonna go around the table and say hello to everyone here. The first person we're gonna talk about is my man with a plan, the Muad'Dib himself, Worm Rider, Darsh.
Hello.
Worm sign.
What?
Worm sign. That's what
Yeah.
I'm gonna say. Worm sign.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't have the drums, but yeah, worm sign.
Mm.
Who are you? What do you do in the community? That kind of thing.
I am Darginator, and I run a podcast with a fellow called Meyer, and I'm also a know-it-all on Reddit, and I shun the people who ask, why is my FPS really low in the PU? I try to shoo those people away because they can't search. That's what I do, and I'm proud of it.
Alrighty, how about you? Who are you? Who is Papa Dolvac?
Dude, that is a question I have been asking for a long time.
I think all of the relay team has been asking about it
I
forever.
still have no idea. I just kind of showed up one day and I didn't leave.
he's like a cat, a stray cat that you fed one day and you just couldn't get rid of him.
If you can trick a group of people into like not kicking you out, eventually they'll confuse that for liking you. So that's why I'm still around. I don't know. I do a thing sometimes on
Sometimes.
relay.sc. It's a site about video games. Sometimes.
Sometimes.
No, all the time. I do a thing.
Mostly about video
sometimes.
game.
Video game, one
Yeah.
game in particular.
It's Pac-Man.
I'm working on a whole bunch of projects all over the community right now, and slowly those are all coming to fruition. That's about that.
Alrighty, so for some reason I seem to be really, really low in my audio. I'm gonna try to boost this up. See if it's using the right audio.
Oh, so many times that one app program will not
Yeah, it just
use
not
the right
letting me-
input.
All right, so
No.
I'm just gonna boost it to the maximum gain possible.
Oh, no, you're going to turn it to 11?
Turn it up to
Push
11.
it to the limit.
There we go. It's still really low for some reason, but Anyways, so it's a little loud now. But how about you, Fastcart? Technical issues, but technical issues been the name of the game today. We had issues on bad rolls as well. So, Fastcart, who are you? Where can they find you in the community?
Spreading.
It is.
I've been called the ambassador of Star Citizen. I maintain a comparison chart for packages for Star Citizen packages, and I've recently expanded that to include packs as well. So if you want to look for a certain value or for packs, and you want to know how much bang for your buck you're getting, you can look at that. And I am on Twitter, fast_cart, and happy to be here again.
Awesome. And lastly, but certainly not leastly, the man who I hesitate to call him Quick Trigger, but he is Quick Trigger. Eric Quick Trigger Nakara, the man who posts faster than anyone else on the subreddit, who is literally like combing. Do you have a bot that just combs the site for more information when it comes out?
He is that bot.
He is the bot. He's the relay bot. The relay bot.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, I used to do that a lot. I kind of eventually left it up to other people. But when I was doing it, that actually is exactly what I was doing. I had a bot running in the background that monitored the RSI website for changes. And so whenever there was a change, it told me, and I went, post.
Bot confirmed.
And it infuriated a lot of people because they were like, I was 12 seconds late. How is it possible?
Yeah, I used to do it all the time. I was literally like a second late. I was there when it came in, and Nakara was already beat me. I'm like, what the fuck? Oh, so much anger. Anyways, welcome, Nakara. Who are you? What can they? What do you do now in Star Citizen? All that kind of stuff.
Well, one of the co-founders of Relay.st. We do news and articles and fiction and stuff and podcasts and other random things about Star Citizen. I used to be and still am fairly prominent member of the subreddit. Like to hang out there. I actually lurk more now than I used to, but I only visited about 1,200 times a day.
Yeah,
so
lurk. You still visit. You just lurk a lot.
Yeah. I got into lots of fights, so I figure that's probably not a good thing.
Alrighty.
Oh, one thing I forgot, I have it's up on the screen behind me, but I do work with the base. I do a show with Fizzer on Tuesday, Cold Vision, and I do postcards on Wednesday. Look it up on the base with the radio.
What's the base? That's not a thing. That doesn't exist.
Yeah, right.
I'm lying to you.
Twitter.com. It's like just /fast_cart, right?
_cart, yeah.
You know, add that to the
And
profile.
I didn't mention before that the name of the podcast that I do is called Fortnightly Frontier.
Mm-hmm.
And we actually do it on Myers' channel because he has a bigger audience.
So go see that as well. So we have several. This is another podcast of podcasts again, because we've got the relay.
We got the relay station.
Relay station. The Fizzle. It was Fission? Was it Fizzle Fission? I can't remember the name. Fast card.
Something like that.
Oh, Cold Vision
Cold Fission. Thank you. And
postcards.
And postcards from the universe. And then we also have Fortnightly Frontiers. That's pretty cool. Anyways, so this is the first podcast we've had officially in 2017, where everyone here is in 2017. And we can see the top of Eric's head there.
No one is time traveling tonight.
No one's time traveling
Wandering
tonight.
around.
There we go. And so the first thing I want to do is go around the table and ask what you guys is. What do you guys? Okay, this is a two-part question. First off, what do you think we're going to get in 2017, like realistically? And what do you think that Star Citizen needs to stay both relevant and active, like have an active player base for the rest of this year? Because personally, 2016 I think was the worst front end year of Star Citizen. No major 0.0 patches came out. No major features really came out. There's some good features that came out, but in terms of like content, there was actually less content coming out in 2016 than there was in 2015 and 2014.
Wait, was 2.0 technically in December or January?
It was in December. It was released in December.
Yeah, it was in December. It's 2.1 in January.
Yeah.
Yep.
So the question is, do you what do you think is going to happen, and what do you like realistically, and what do you think needs to happen in 2017 in order for the community to continue to grow and for the game to continue to do its like breaking records thing and all that such? Because now we're at $141 million as of yesterday. So
Wow.
in crowdfunding. So
And
we'll start.
and they hit 1.7 million citizens the week before that.
Yeah. So we'll start with Eric, and then we'll move our way back all the way to Darj. So Nakara, what do you think? So first off, what do you
Suppose I have
think we
time
need?
to open a drink then.
Yes. What do you think we need in 2017, or what do you think what's going to happen in 2017? What do you think we need in terms of the game development?
Okay. In terms of what is going to happen, I don't know. I think I've become more of a, I don't know if it's a realist or a pessimist, but the 2016 taught me a lot about sort of the pace of how of the development of this game. So the only things that I am expecting at this point are 3.0 and Squadron. Other than that, they can surprise me. I also think that they have to get Squadron 42 out this year.
Okay.
I think it's non-negotiable.
So do you think they could slip on 3.0? Do you think they could have no patches at all between now and the end of the year?
Well, actually, earlier today on the Relay Station, I predicted that 3.0 would come out in December. So,
True story. He did say that.
But I think, I mean, the Persist Universe part is important, but I think their most important part this year for the company and for the game is to get Squadron out the door. Obviously, there's a lot of things that would follow along in the PU with that. There's a lot of, as I've said, there's a lot of tech that needs to be in Squadron that's actually being developed for 3.0. So they kind of go hand in hand. But I mean, those two are the absolute must. Now, I actually think if they only released one patch this year, it would be a disaster. But I think everyone knows that. No, I think the only things I'll guarantee this year are 3.0 and Squadron. And the things they need, I actually think for the community's sake, I think we need Squadron and probably up to 3.2 at the minimum. Absolute minimum. Preferably 3.3. I don't think they'll get to 4.0.
No, I don't. Yeah, okay. How about you, Fastcart? What do you think is realistic that's going to be coming out this year, and what do you think has to come out in order to keep both the fans and like new people coming in?
So for the YouTube part, I think we should just copy and paste the car's answer and just use that for my answer too.
Is it just the same thing? Okay.
So yeah, I was thinking like the only thing I would differ with that, not just 3.2, but I think we should and to bring in to stay relevant, to bring in more industrial stuff like marketing and mining and like cargo. Well, like I mean, real cargo.
Yeah,
Not
not just
like that.
not the first iteration of like, buy cargo. It's in your ship. Not the elite dangerous level cargo
Right.
you're trying to do with 3.0.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I think they need to do to stay relevant. Because I mean, like we saw it a long time ago when I did those polls, a lot more people were into the industrial part of Star Citizen than the combat. So I think,
Actually, exploration was the number one thing that they did. And
Right.
exploration's not even coming until 4.0. So
Right.
Yeah, that's it was like, never forget that figure. 69% of the community.
sorry.
69. Of course, you can't forget that number, but
Nope.
69%. 69% of people they asked, their number one thing they wanted to do in Star Citizen was explore. So you got to look at that and go, okay, we need exploration then.
The one after that though was shipping, and that was still like 60 or 50% of respondents said that they wanted to do shipping as
Yeah.
one of their
Dude,
options.
people
So
like space trucking.
they do.
So yeah,
Yeah.
number one, they want to be Picard or whatever on the Enterprise, and number two, they want
Be Mal.
truck simulator in space.
truck simulator, or be like Mal Reynolds, or the Firefly, like transporting goods or legal goods or whatever between places. So
so yeah, so if they do any combination of that, I believe they'll still be relevant. But if you just stick with combat, with space combat or FPS, it'll wane a bit.
Yeah, they got to start getting away from combat in 2017 because
Yep.
that's been all we've had for the last 3 years. So
And still nowhere even close to
being what's supposed to be in terms of its final combat.
Yeah.
How about you, Dovek?
All right, so I'm gonna kind of echo the sentiment, Eric's sentiment here.
Everyone's copying Eric.
Yeah.
I think
Everyone wants us to be the cool kid.
I think the big problem is not like where do we think this thing is. I think the issue is that us at this table are fairly well informed of like updates and status of various projects inside CIG. Like we read everything, we're informed, and we can't make an accurate assessment.
Nope.
And that's an issue, right? And there's always going to be things that come up. There's always going to be things that no one can see coming and setbacks. That's just nature of the game. But man, we really need those status updates, man. Because is Squadron 42 6 years away or is it 2 months away? I don't know. You don't know. No one else knows. Is 3.0 going to come out tomorrow or is it going to come out in December? Nobody knows.
Chris Roberts did
Well,
say
the thing is,
in the
there's
latest
still, there's still a way on holidays, and they haven't actually properly started for 2017. So as soon as that happens,
No, they
update.
actually
They came back this year.
They started Monday. They started Monday this week.
Monday already.
Yeah, but however, a lot of people take this time to take their holidays. So, like for instance, I think Disco Lando's on holiday, so he's going to be gone for a bit.
Is.
So this like
They're
January.
they're officially open this week, though.
Yeah,
there were a lot of people back. So
January.
Right. Yeah, but
January.
you still have to wait until everybody's back until you can have the whole powwow and say, okay, now let's get where are we with 3.0? Where are we with Squadron 42? So we can actually maybe start telling somebody.
That's all fine, good. I'm not saying that it's my problem is not with the event; it's with the trend, rather. It's just like the lack of information is still like disconcerting. Now moving on to other things, we're talking about like cargo mechanics. We're talking about salvage and all these other mechanics are supposedly coming in over the course of 2017. Those actually are something that vaguely concern me in a way. Both excite me and concern me because we have all these ships, and like I'm sure all of you would agree with me that the ship pipeline for CIG has gotten significantly better over 2016. Right? They started like pumping things out when we were seeing a ship, maybe 2 ships a year before, and now we started getting like, hey, every patch is going to have 1 or 2 ships, right? And they started working on bigger things and bigger things. They really started nailing things down. That's cool. All these ships are kind of jank and don't really work. Half the systems don't work, and we always know that like, hey, these are just like the shells and like the models, and they're working on these things. And as more and more systems come online, more and more functionality will come online. None of the ship's computers work. None of the tractor beams don't work. None of this stuff works, and I really want to see them push that forward. I don't want the Caterpillar to be a long like space penis just kind of floating around. I'm tired of that. I want it to be the pirate ship that it's supposed to be. I want it to be that pirate hauler. That's what I want.
Go back.
And without getting those mechanics and those systems actually baked into the ships themselves, we're not going to see that, and that's why I'm kind of excited to see that in 2017. And hopefully they get there. I'm not so sure, but we'll see.
Real quick, Dovek, what is it you and penises? Because you had the Bailey Measurement has a face white penis. The Caterpillar now the face.
Listen.
Not my fault
it's
that
not,
they designed all these ships to be super phallic. Okay,
the freelancer,
the space cocks, man. I don't know.
The freelancer is a cock and balls. They're all fucking space penises.
They deliberately they're redesigning the Cutlass to make that extended head more round. It's not my fault. All right, so let's move on to Dari. How can you follow up the space penis comment? All right, 2017, year of the space penis. Working on your calendar,
I just think that if there is a Sedaball, if they actually release Sedaball with 17, I think the team should be called the Space Cocks.
The Space Cocks? That's the fighting Space Cocks. The fighting Space Cocks. Yeah.
But anyway, like what people said, 3.0, Squadron 42. And I don't know if this is Sorry if I don't have this memorized, but I don't know if this is actually listed under a specific patch. But they need to, basically, they need to add more content, more dynamic content to the PU, and do that by implementing the dynamic mission system.
Mm.
So I think that is one of the things that they should do. I don't know if they will do it or if that's something that's like a really long-term goal, but I think it should come much sooner than later. Just because even if every week is a set of slightly different missions you get from Tessa, that will still, get more people to play, because I'm kind of getting sick and tired of them. I know 2.6 there has been some expansions, but that's still, what is it, like 4 months? Or actually over a year that we had the same damn mission set.
Mm-hmm. We've had some new mission systems and sets,
Yeah.
but it's still pretty much the same system.
I think they need to do something to spruce up the content in the PU, even if, the 3.0 is going to bring us the whole system. So if they still maintain like static missions, it's going to get boring really soon, because it's going to be just more of the same. It's going to be a lot more of it, but it's just going to be more of the same.
So one of the basically that's subsumption, right?
Mm-hmm.
The mission system is built into subsumptions. So, and they need subsumption to get squadron out. So I'm imagining those are intrinsically linked. I would expect to see that sometime this year. I agree, and it is really important to make it. Honestly, right now, the most compelling thing in Star Citizen, in my mind, is Star Marine, and it needs to be the PU. It needs to
cheaty
be
now.
Yeah, and
So, like when it comes to like content in the PU, like Darsh, what you're saying, have any of you guys played Hitman, the 2016 Hitman?
I haven't. I've seen it played though.
So they actually had something really cool where there was a whole hullabaloo last year when they were doing pre-orders for this game, where they canceled all the pre-orders for the game because they're like, guys, we're overhauling how the business model for this thing works. And so instead of you buy the game, you get everything comes out, they made it episodic. So you bought like a $9 chunk of Hitman. Hitman maps are quite large. There's like 7 or so maps in Hitman 2016. So it's like $7 or $9 depending on the map. It's level of content itself. And you go in and you play that slice of Hitman. And people were really concerned about that, but it actually turns out it works really well and people really liked it. So they do a thing with other maps because they have a thing called elusive targets, which is like, because of how the AI works in Hitman, you go around this fairly large map and you got to figure out, you learn this AI's path and you figure out the best way to kill them, right? And they change the AI and change a few AI routes and then change every week or so, every couple of weeks, you'll have a new target on the map. So it's like, hey, the new elusive target is this guy on this map. He's only gonna be there for a week. If you kill him, you get like a special thing, or whatever. It'd be kind of cool to see it like a level of that in the PU of just like one-off events, not necessarily like one-off, but just like, hey, for next week, tons of pirates are gonna be like defending this comlink, or like there's gonna be supply lines of Big Bennies back and forth between these two stations. We'll steal them for some credits. That kind of thing.
I'm gonna let you finish, but you just described Elite Dangerous's community events.
All right, well, I don't play Elite
That's
Dangerous
exactly
so
what a community. That's what Elite Dangerous does on a.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about, and that kind of content is kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
And I like, hey, this thing's gonna happen for the next week, and I know that the systems they're building don't really involve that as much. They're because like they want those systems to happen. They want those events to happen via the system itself, right? And they want to build that system to make those events happen, rather than like, hey, in lore, this event's going to happen. But down the road, it would be kind of cool to see that level of thing, because you can always put that level of human touch on things that are more impactful, really, to like the player itself. And like that has been a trend in like games in 2016 and like 2015, the past like 2 or 3 years, and I'm actually totally on board with it, and I think a lot of people are as well, because it's cool. It keeps you coming back.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that on top of Darginators and the card point, like if they did bring in the exploration stuff, or even like the more industrial stuff, I imagine that they add more missions.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's for
yeah.
sure.
Well, more-
So one of the things. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, well, more missions is just fine, but if they just remain static for the next year, it's gonna, piss people off.
Yeah, well, to get the dynamic part of the missions, they have 2 parts they need. They need subsumption and they need the actual universe simulation to be working. Now, the second part of that, I have no idea where they're at. We haven't heard much about the universe simulation for like the last year or so.
Last I
Whatever
heard about
happened
the
to Moon
universe
Collider?
sim,
Like AI itself is just kind of.
well, Moon Collider's still in charge of the AI, but it's different from
I
subsumption.
know, but like, we don't really know what Moon Collider's ever is up to.
I don't even know if they're really. I think they're pretty much done with the AI. in terms
Yeah, I was
of,
gonna
like,
say,
the systems.
are they still around?
Really.
We don't know. Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They may have also
We
been
heard- we
purchased by
heard
people
about
like
them, like,
Amazon or
twice,
whatever
also.
because they were specifically working with CryEngine. So it could have been one of those situations where because CryEngine was going whatever because of Crytek's problems, they may have been like worked with other groups that were working with them. So I don't know. We haven't heard a lot about them for
Was
at least
the
a year.
AI
I think.
engine CryEngine specific? I thought it was like a.
It was.
completely
I think
independent
it was an independent thing, but it was specifically being worked for CryEngine, which is why they were working with Star Citizen. Now, the last time we heard about the universe simulation, it was kind of being rolled into this Assumption update, as it were, like Subsumption and the universe sim. We're going to be going. We're going to be put side by side.
Okay.
But-
Well, if that's true, then I would definitely think that we're going to be at dynamic missions this year.
Yeah.
If we're not, again, we have a problem.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
what you're saying about like AI work and stuff like that is, there are a lot of groups out there who are doing kind of cool work, and so a lot of them when it comes to AI, and a lot of them actually are working with like CryEngine or Lumberyard and stuff like that.
Mhm.
I mean, like remember like years ago, Kingdom Come Deliverance, which is actually coming out this year.
Mhm.
And that thing's actually really come together, but their AI is actually really impressive. And like it's not to the scale of Star Citizen. But their game world is fairly large. It's like like half of Witcher 3, I guess. It's like a small little medieval area, but like all their AI are kind of doing the same kind of things that they want to do with Star Citizen AI. Like these people have lives, these people have routines. They do things. You could kill someone here, and they'll like all shuffle down the line and affect things. And they're working on CryEngine. Like years ago, they even said like, "Hey, we're going to be kind of partnering with sharing and help each other out." Which who knows how well that worked out. But there are those groups out there doing cool stuff to like the level that they are trying to get at here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I do want to respond to something. Someone says, "Oh yeah, the AI in Star Citizen sucks." Like, have you tried the AI in 2.6? The AI in 2.6 will actually wing up in formation and fight you if there's more than 3 of them. Like the Gladiuses, the Gladiuses
in Pirate Swarm.
Yeah, the Gladiuses will literally form up in the PU. I've seen them. They've seen them form up in a V pattern, going after a single target, so they don't hit each other, but they hit the target. Like they are stupid effective and organized in when you have more than 1 or 2 people in an area. So that's why it becomes damn near impossible to do any kind of ICC missions in a multi-crew ship, because if you have anybody, it's not like, oh yeah, the guy who's not as good as everybody else, you throw him in the turret and maybe he'll hit something. It's like, yeah, but he doesn't hit anything, then you're dead. Like, you need effective gunners to be able to do things. They've done a lot of work with the AI, and we haven't seen a lot of the work with the AI because they also have to work on subsumption, because subsumption's the other aspect of AI. It was one part of the AI, which is their behavior. How do they act in combat? Which is the most common AI behavior, which you see in most shooters and action games, is you see AI in terms of how they respond. Do they flank? Do they, like, what are their maneuvers, that kind of stuff. And for as far as I understand, a lot of that stuff is in the process of being done, if not pretty close to being done. The biggest issue is subsumption, in which they have AIs act. Those same AIs also have lives and jobs, and so, like, instead of just using these brutal tactics, if you blew up 3 or 4 of the pirates, the last pirate would be like, "Peace out, I ain't fucking dying for this shit," and just leave, because he's got like a coward status or something like that. Like it's like part of his personality. And that was what the whole concept of subsumption is. Like, each NPC will have like personality types, which will affect how it reacts to situations and interruptions. Go ahead.
If you think the AI are impressive now, wait till they included the two bots from that just appeared on Twitch yesterday.
Oh God.
Put them in the game. They'll be trash talking you and everything.
ENV, yeah, ENV. God, man, you just fucking Skynet, yo. Skynet's alive and in the well.
Here's what you do. Here's what you do. You get a bot, right? You get like a voice bot. Here's how you get the best stream on Twitch, right? You get a voice bot, you get Star Marine, you get a method to auto reconnect the games, right? You set up Twitch Plays Star Marine, and then you get that aim bot that lets you shoot through walls, and you just do that. That's that's the best stream right there. Twitch destroys the Star Marine community right there. That's how that works.
Speaking of aimbots, anybody worried about that?
Worried about that? Not really. I mean,
No, not really.
It's so laggy and buggy, and if someone's using it, really, are you going to use a cheat and risk your even $60 account, or in some cases thousands of dollar account because you want to win?
Yeah, that's my thing. Is that why are they cheating
arena?
in alpha? It's not even beta. It's cheating in alpha. What's the point?
I'd rather not talk about it.
Right
I'd rather not talk about it
Okay.
because it's giving them free advertising, and I don't want to. It's going to go away anyways. So let's just drop it for right now. Anyways, my personal take on the whole thing on 2017 and that kind of stuff is that I think we'll probably have 3.0 by at least mid-year, and I think that's the biggest crunch is 3.0. They got most of the stuff in the 3.0 line is 3.0. It's because you have the landing, you have the full system, you have all the landing zones. You don't even have to have all the landing zones, but you have to have some of the landing zones, and you have the cargo and explorable planets. So that's the biggest thing there. Making sure that all works in an online environment, that's difficult.
Can you imagine if you're the guy? Can you imagine if you're the guy who made the Levski landing zone 2 years ago? You're like, I want it in the damn game.
Because it was made in January of 2016. It was finished in January of 2016.
It's been sitting there forever. There's nowhere for them to put it right now. So, but yeah, I'm sure whoever worked on that's getting pretty itchy to get in the game.
Yeah.
I wonder if at some point there's almost a bandwidth consideration. It's just there's no we're not going to ArcCorp this thing simply because we don't want to pay for it until it's fully done.
Yeah, that's fair enough. And I mean, they don't really need to. The whole point of having ArcCorp there is so that they have a test bed for cities, right? Did our latest patch break cities?
Yeah.
So you can go look at ArcCorp. No, it's fine. It's funny because very few people focus on ArcCorp, but every couple patches I go and I walk around and I'm like, this is way better than it was before. Then it's subtly make everything better.
Yeah.
Well, I just went into ArcCorp yesterday and I realized just how much they fixed the lighting. Just that made it look so much better.
People bitch about the frame rates. Go to ArcCorp. Go to ArcCorp with a decent rig. You will have 60 FPS with 40 people in there. The issue is definitely has to do with the netcode dealing with the massive environment of the PU and the
ships.
The ships, and so. That's the reason why Lumberyard and the new netcode that's going in is going to be combined will probably improve a lot of the stuff.
A lot of this is also the zone system working properly because I don't think it does yet. Occluding everything outside of where you are. I think right now it's still mostly just rendering everything, and and once you have, you're in a room inside a space station, so it doesn't have to render all the starships outside. I think that will vastly improve performance as well.
Yeah,
well, didn't Chris Roberts say in the newsletter that in 2.6.1 that's coming?
The idea was that they were going to bring in the it's called the massive map,
the mega map.
The mega map. And the idea of
the mega map,
is that you can load into everything in 2. And you load into the game. It's if you've ever played Kerbal Space Program, you notice that long ass load time at the beginning of the game. That's because it's loading in every single asset in the game, and then they have an LOD where hold on.
I was going to say that wasn't me.
Professional.
Yeah, professional. Been professional all this time, but my sister decided she wanted to call me in the middle of this.
Partnered Twitch stream right here.
Huh?
Excellent.
There's apparently family drama that I'm missing, which is I don't care about.
Oh.
Oh, good.
Also, am I the only one drinking on the Astropub?
No, I'm drinking.
Yes.
I have booze,
Okay.
but I've
I have
cares?
the empty beer bottle from the last Captain's Table. I'm not even kidding.
Wasn't I on it as well?
Yeah, you
I
were.
mean,
I thought.
I always say I can't drink and drive.
Still have this on the table next to it.
Yeah, I just never cleaned up. I don't know.
Nah.
Trash.
Anyways, moving on. I think the biggest thing about the Mega Map is that it loads everything in so that when you move from Star Marine to the universe, you can go straight from Star Marine to the universe. You can just pull up the menu and go from Star Marine to the universe rather than having to like go back to the main menu and that kind of stuff. And I think partially that will also help with the rendering because you have to have the different renderers at that point working properly.
Yeah.
And they thought that
Wonder.
they didn't
If
know
you
if
go
that was
into
going to be in there.
I also wonder once they do that and you go into a persistent universe, how long is it going to take for somebody to glitch into a Star Marine map from the persistent universe
Near
with a ship?
Instantly, yeah. Well, because it doesn't. I mean,
Well, it depends how it works, but it would be really funny if it happened.
more than likely, they're going to be. It'll be like all of them will be on the same like map, but they'll probably be in like a place where no one can reach it. It's like that Nega
Yeah.
zone you go into in sometimes where you glitch into like the void that you get to when you try to spawn in Crusader.
I
Now-
think
So,
the-
what
I
you're
think it'll
saying
be-
is it's going to be the equivalent of in Skyrim trying to climb the mountain with your horse, and somebody's going to manage to jump up the mountain in the Mega Map into a Star Marine game.
Like back in the day, if any of you guys have ever played like World of Warcraft or anything, you know how like battlegrounds work in that game, where like they're like a separate non-world PvP area, and you queue up, and when the queue pops, you get set in there, kind of like Star Marine. And that's how a lot of the PvP works in World of Warcraft. Fun fact: Warsong Gulch is straight up like under Durotar. It's like way down under it. And so all the assets are there, and like you can put into a separate version of it, but that's where it's playing the assets. So you actually already always have it like loaded, and then you just teleport there. Like if you it's like for a while it was possible to like glitch under it, and you could like just see, oh yeah, there's Warsong Gulch. It's like it's down there, and so like eventually, if they're the same concept, there'll be the point where it's just like, hey, if just the Star Marine map is just in the core of for no reason. It's just in the planet center.
Well, it's not gonna be because if you just if you fly out, you can see the moon somewhere.
Well, the
So-
Star Marine maps are going to be actual locations in the universe. They've confirmed that those
Yeah,
will be
that is
actual
true,
locations in the
yeah.
universe. So,
Um,
so we'll see them at some point. But let me finish up with my prediction because I never got a chance to do
Oh
that.
yeah, absolutely.
Sure.
In 2017, I think it's realistic that we'll get 2.6.1, 3.0, 3.1, and 3.2. I think is a realistic factor. I don't think we'll get 3.0 until May or June at the earliest, and then the rest of them will probably get 3 to 4 months later. So we'll probably get 3.1 sometime in September and 3.2 around the end of the year, and I think we'll get Squadron 42 as well. I don't know if we will or not. Like Squadron 42 may slip again to 2018 simply because there's a lot of issues right now.
Don't say that.
I mean,
You're gonna make
here's
me cry, man.
the fact. Have we seen anything from Squadron 42?
No.
No.
We've seen absolutely nothing that they think is ready.
Well,
And-
just because we haven't seen anything doesn't mean that
But they-
nothing.
But that would also give us a better idea of what's going on because they haven't told us anything because they don't want us to spoil it, obviously. But at the same time, if you don't tell us anything, we don't know where it is. So I'll have to wait and see more about the because they said they were going to do that update. They were going to do that update where they're going to start doing updates for like they did with 2.6 for 3.0 and for Squadron 42.
The project schedule.
The project scheduler. So I'll have to wait to reserve judgment to see until I see that. But knowing that, I'm fairly sure that we're probably not going to get unless otherwise, we're probably not going to get Squadron 42 at the end of this year. I think it'll probably slip entirely to 2018. But we'll see. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I think
Do
that
you want to bet on it?
I think that it'd be worse if 3.0 if Squadron 42 came out at the end of the year and 3.0 didn't come out until like August, because at that point all of any kind of the hype, any kind of hope that even the hardest core backers who've been following this game for this point over 4 years had for the game, where there's literally nothing to show for with the last 4 years except for a bunch of pew-pews, like essentially Arena Commander but in a larger map.
What does 4 measly years
I know,
mean in
but
a game of such scope?
it doesn't matter in the long run in the sense that, because you still have to show progress. Yes, in a closed environment, this wouldn't matter, but they're in an open environment, and they have to maintain.
They do need to show progress. I
They
agree.
need to maintain funding, and they also need to maintain interest. If they can't maintain either of those things, then they're going to start slipping. So they have to get 3.0 out before the summer, or sometime right at the beginning of the summer, because otherwise.
I was going to mention this earlier, but I think the most important thing for them right now is to get the schedule report out.
Yeah. Because right now we're all shooting in the dark because we have no idea.
Like we are waiting for that. Like, they are still supposed to be giving us production schedules, so I actually think they're probably going to give us one for 2.6.1 first.
Yes,
but we don't know anything until that we get that production schedule for 3.0. If we get the production schedule for 3.0 and it says the finish date is the end of February, well then it'll probably come out in March. But if their finish date for 3.0 is November. Then
also, correct me if I'm wrong, but aren't they? Sorry.
No, good.
Okay. Sorry. Also, I was going to say that correct me if I'm wrong, but aren't they working on each like 3.3, 3.2, and all that good stuff like concurrently, so that if something comes online first, they'll just put that out and not wait for the.
They don't. Yeah, they don't. The progress isn't stopping on the development of the game. We can see that because the Caterpillar was originally supposed to be 3.0. Remember, it came out in 2.6. Yep. So that's an example of progress is not stopping on the game as things are. As you're going along, so some things may get rolled into it. That doesn't necessarily mean we'll get like mining in 3.0, but it does mean that we'll probably get some. Did I misspell it?
No. I'm just. Okay. He's been trying to say something for like 5 minutes.
Go ahead, Papa. Sorry.
What happens? Okay, so,
I got you, man.
Okay, so, Paul. So you've been saying that like, there is like. In your soul, you feel, you've reached out, you feel vibrations of maybe possibility of Squadron 42 being pushed, right?
Yes.
Here's the thing. I also kind of get that sense maybe. Once again, we're all shooting in the dark here. Here's the thing. What do you think they prioritize at some point? At some point, do you think they're like, all right, look, we've said it's all be concurrent. What if we just pull everybody and get Squadron 42 out the door at the cost of the PU and 3.0 and all that stuff?
You can't do that. You can't do that. You can't do that.
Because
most people backed for the PU. They didn't back for Squadron 42.
I'm gonna say this because not everybody, they won't pull everybody, but look what they did with 2.6. The reason 3.0 is where it is we found out at the holiday live stream that they pulled people off of almost everything to work on 2.6 and get it out the door. So when Squadron's getting close, I expect anybody who can be pulled reasonably will be.
Yeah, no,
instead, do this,
and they do have a record of doing that since since the beginnings of the company. And everyone says, "Oh yeah, they're considering."
Multiple times they don't do that,
but they do. They lie. They've lied to us. They like. I'm not one of those people who's like, "Oh, it's just perfect." I'm also not one of those people like they lie to us all the time. It's like no, they give us marketing lies. They give us marketing lies, which is
I want to say they misjudge.
No, I mean like saying that they don't pull people off when they do. They're not necessarily lying.
They don't do that, and then they consistently do it, and they consistently have done it in the past.
Well, not only that, they tell us they do it.
Yeah,
and then they tell us they don't do it, and then they tell us they do it.
And what they mean by that is that they'll pull off if they can get an artist to do that's working on Squadron 42, and they need to get some art asset done for 2.6. They'll pull him off of Squadron 42 to work on that art asset for 2.6. But if they don't need if there's someone who's working on something that's critical for Squadron 42, then they won't necessarily pull them off of that work. So what they're saying is that they're not pulling critical assets off of other projects. They're pulling the people out who don't have projects at the time or who are working on not as critical projects to work on more critical projects, which is standard practice. But again, I think this all relates down to CIG's problem, which is communication. They have a bad time of communicating with us, and we beat up on CIG 2 or 3 weeks ago about the communication issues.
We beat them half to death on Relay Station about it.
Yeah.
The
So
horse is on fire, is dead on fire, thrown off a bridge, run over by a train. The horse is very upset right now.
It's not a happy camper.
yeah.
Large amounts of distress.
I'm really unsure about Squadron, but I mean they're already talking about getting a production schedule to us for Squadron as well. So you gotta imagine it's not that far out.
No, but the issue is not necessarily
We'll see.
is not necessarily the time left to make it. It's the time to polish it.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's and this is kind of a really difficult adventure for CIG because they've never finished a game.
Nope.
They in getting a game from it's almost ready to it's completely release ready, done. There are no bugs that are game breaking. You know, it can be very time consuming. Like you look at a lot of games, they'll go gold or they'll like get to a almost releasable state like 6 or 8 months before they release sometimes. So it'll be interesting to see. But I think we talked about this last time on here, but I think the optimal time for them to release Squadron would be in the summer.
Summer would be the best time. Now that we know that Mass Effect is coming out in March, we know just don't release it in March. And I don't think we have a problem with that.
Let it happen. Give people like 3 months.
Yeah.
And then, yeah.
Yeah, I think the optimum time would be summer. If not summer, then early fall would be probably a good time.
Or Gamescom.
Just get themselves away from all of the other big single-player story releases. And,
Okay,
you know.
just theoretically, how long ago did Mass Effect 3 come out?
2012 is when it came out.
2012. So 5 years for Andromeda to come out, and it's
And they went from concept to Andromeda with a brand new engine and a brand new team to making, because it's actually the B team. It's BioWare's B team, which has been making. I hate to say B team because it's not really a B team. It's just the non.
the alternate
team. They're the newer people. They're the people they put in there with like more experimental stuff. But these are the same people who built Dragon Age Origins, the Dragon Age Inquisition, the third one.
Yeah, Inquisition.
I like Inquisition.
Yeah. So saying they're the B team and they make Inquisition, which was a lot of people enjoyed. But they're using a lot of new engine, that kind of stuff. So it's very comparable, but it's also a single player experience. So about 5 years makes sense for Squadron 42. But the issue is again, what's the level of polish they're looking for? What they've said that they're all in final assets or better, which is good. But final assets is one thing, but final assets that makes a coherent story that people enjoy is another. Because we've all experienced games that have fun moments, and then the story either breaks down somewhere or it ends terribly. Mass Effect 3. Like there are places where it can, and I actually didn't mind the 3 ending, but I played it later. But there are places where you can fall down on quite easily. So it's up to. That's the other problem, is that CIG doesn't have standards in terms of what is a final game supposed to be like. Like, even say what you want to say about Hello Games. Hello Games had made games before, so they knew what an end game was. So they had a standard that was set before they even finished No Man's Sky of what a finished product would look like from Hello Games. So
you also have to remember that in a lot of games, when you're producing like a big budget AAA game, which is what Squadron 42 is, you have a period after you finish the game. So after you go gold, a lot of time, day one patches are a thing, and they're a thing that's fairly prominent in the game industry. So
will they actually have to go gold though? That's the thing, because
going gold essentially means like we're printing discs. But when you're printing discs, because of the internet, you don't have to stop.
Day one patch.
And for a lot of times you have like a 2 to 3 month period of time where we're like, this this is just fucked up, man. We gotta fix this. And so there's like a period of time before it releases when they're still working on the game because the version that's on that disc is in no way finished. It's like, oh shit, just duct tape this together to pass Microsoft cert, and push it out the door, and then we'll fix it. We'll fix it, I promise. And actually, with stuff like Sony and Microsoft cert, there's like when something's like passing certification, there's like a pass, a denial, and then like a pass. As long as you fix this before it comes out, like they'll give you like a conditional pass. Like, hey, your game will pass cert, but this bug has to be fixed.
The problem
And
is
it'll be
that
like,
Squadron
okay.
42 won't have going gold because Squadron
Exactly.
42 is not printed.
So,
They may have printed, but I
Yeah,
Yeah,
guarantee
that's what I
you
was wondering.
the disc will
Thing you gotta
probably come in
remember that-
later. It'll be probably coming in after they release, just because they'll
I
probably
don't
give them a
think
visual
so.
copy.
I don't think so because a lot of the time it's like these things are fundamental to the game. Like almost like the game is semi-unplayable without this patch. It's like a necessary component. It's not like an extra thing. It's not like a 1.1 patch. It's like it's the 0.9 patch to the 1.0 patch. That's what that day one patch usually is. And when, like, what I'm saying is, I think that we got to remember that you got to build the game, and then finish, and then give them another 2 months to do that process because they're not going to have that traditional time.
My question is, like
Um,
you pointed out going gold. Like if people who have the physical packages for Squadron 42 and Star Citizen, when do we get that package then? Is that for
Yeah.
when Squadron 42 launches? Is that when Star Citizen launches? Is that when both are launched?
Yeah, that's a good question because the original concept was
No
that they
idea.
were going to be both come together, so we don't know. My guess is that they would need to hire need to get a factory to print them discs for Squadron 42 and Star Citizen. So my guess would be that they would give digital copies out and they would send the physical copies
Yes.
later.
I actually don't think that Star Citizen, the PU, is actually going to come on a physical disc. So you'll get a physical disc for Squadron 42, which will install the launcher for both.
Yeah.
And then as many assets as they are,
Well,
combined
there's two
for
launchers.
the
There's the
two.
Squadron 42 launcher and the Star Citizen launcher. They'll be in separate launchers. as far as I understand.
you
Separate
sure? I don't think so.
You
I
think
think
they're
they're
the
going
same
to be
launcher? Because
I'm
they're
pretty sure
separate
they're
EXEs.
pulling a
I think
Blizzard.
there'll just be two. I think there'll just be two buttons inside the same launcher because they want to go. Yeah, they want to go the Blizzard direction
Yeah,
and
they're
have
pulling a battle.
a unified.
So Spectrum is now
Yeah.
BattleNet, is what you're trying to say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
essentially.
Okay.
Except BattleNet isn't BattleNet anymore, so I don't know what's what.
Isn't it
Anyways.
Battle.net still?
Yeah.
No,
Blizzard is dropping the BattleNet name.
it's just like Blizzardness. It's like the Blizzard launcher.
Blizzardness. I love that name,
Blizzard launcher.
Blizzardness.
Yeah. Well, I mean, which is kind of smart because if you like think about it, like, what the fuck is BattleNet? Like, I might know what World of Warcraft is. I might know that like Blizzard made that game. I might know what Overwatch is. I'm not gonna know that it's like this. Like, what's BattleNet? Someone sends me a link to, hey, go buy Overwatch at battle.net. No, I'm gonna go look at Steam, dude. What are you talking about? What's this thing? Get out
Yeah, but
of
then
here.
again, what is Spectrum? Because it's all going to be
I was going
called
to say the same
Spectrum.
thing.
In this
Yep.
same line of thinking, what the fuck is
It's
Robert
Spec-
Space Industries?
Yeah,
How
true.
is that able to
Is this
Well,
Star
Robert
Citizen?
Space Industries is sort of like Blizzard.
You just
That-
echoed
in what-
Novak, you just echoed the first thing I thought when I found Star Citizen. Why is it not StarCitizen.com? What the hell is Robert Space Industries?
Yeah.
Oh man.
And then they go into like lore, like what?
I understand it.
RSI shouldn't have been like an actual ship manufacturer. They should have been like, "Hey, we invented the Zeus and then never made anything else." That
Yeah.
should have been like the thing. It's like, "Hey, we started all this," and then like Robert's
What?
Butt Industries came over. I don't know. Like you know, they should have just had like RSI.
Well, at least it wasn't. At least it wasn't Robert's penis.
Robert Spacecock Industries, yes.
Captain's Table, episode 35, the penis edition.
In a move that no one saw coming, the porn industry actually forwarded humanity's space travels. I don't know how this happened, but
Hey, yo.
Well, you know
porn
how
industry is on the
Pornhub
cutting.
is actually planting a tree for every video you play, or when every 1,000 videos is
Yeah.
played. Yeah, they're gonna be funding SpaceX.
Hey, you know what? Hey, porn does push the limits of technology. So
They do.
like without
we're going
without
to
the
space.
without porn, VR wouldn't be a thing. So
Yeah,
you're welcome.
exactly. And 4K naked male wouldn't be a thing either.
Exactly. But
Are we back on the 4K genitals again?
Yeah.
The real leave. What are you talking
RSI
about?
is famously known for two things: dildos and spaceships. sex toys and spaceships, man. Quantum entanglement on this side, and then you got sex toys. That's
Yeah, NASA.
Okay.
NASA,
they come
yeah.
together. That
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's why everything's a penis. Oh, we did it.
We did it.
How
we did it
how
right.
do you expect to maintain a long distance relationships with your partner over several star systems without quantum entanglement connected sexual devices?
There you go.
I will say this though. It sounds like we're all being doom and gloom with Star Citizen, and we're not. We all back the project, and we still like the game, and
Oh, yeah.
we'll still be playing the game. We just
I'm actually
You know what? We're very
pretty
much at a point.
being concierge.
Yeah.
So
We're all very much at a point right now where we're sort of in. I get this very strong feeling from the community. We're all sort of in a wait and see mode.
it happens every beginning of every year. Every year we go into wait and see
Because
mode.
well, and this year's worse than usual because they finished last year with
Garbage
an oak.
with a
Well,
burning with a burning garbage can.
The anniversary sale was interesting and the videos were cool and that was all, but we didn't really get any game information. So we were sort of like, okay, that's fine. It'll all come at the holiday stream, and the holiday stream was a burning dumpster fire, or like a giant dumpster fire.
For
and it was-
instance, they changed
okay,
what 3.0 was going to be, and I didn't know that because I didn't watch the holiday live stream because I couldn't handle the cringe and the rest of the stuff. And someone came out and said, "Yeah, it was on the holiday stream." And I went up and looked up the information. I'm like, "Holy shit, they did! They changed how like they started backing down on how what 3.0 is going to have." Started rolling back because they were afraid that they promised too much about
Yeah.
like things like inventory, like things like
well, Microtech is a
cargo.
good. Like Microtech's a good example. They're now simplifying their first environment of Microtech will only have one dome,
Mhm.
like for the city, instead of having like all these other domes
Yeah,
spread
and-
out and connected
And
together.
those domes will have like the buying and selling portions,
Yeah.
nothing else, and landing zone, which I expected anyways. But also things like how to become a pirate, or how you do piracy is you just blow a ship up and then fly over and like touch the items like any other kind of classic space game would have.
something, if we want to go back to the first question, that I will also love to see in 2017 is actually ships getting disabled, not blowing up as soon as you
Yeah.
reach 0 hit points. How are you supposed to capture whoever's piloting or get their cargo, or actually just capture the ship itself if it just goes boom?
That's something that's
a
going to have
mechanic
to.
that needs to get into it. Yeah, and
Yeah,
maybe
we got to move
it will
towards
be-
being able to disable easier.
Yeah,
There's a lot of things that
it'll
need
be
that
with the
need to happen.
dynamic missions. It's going to be capture the ship.
Well, no, yeah, and that's the
when
thing
you
is,
go over there.
but we're not going to have that with 3.0. We're going to have nothing but blow shit up, and if you
Yeah,
transport from A to B and blow shit up, like it's essentially what we're getting.
Basically, we're gonna have what we have right now with procedurally generated planets,
Planets.
and
cargo.
and some other weird kind of like duct tape together mechanics.
Yeah.
That's what we're getting.
but if the netcode is in 3.0 and we get the
Yeah.
boost in frame rates,
Oh no, no.
think
I mean,
a lot of
like
people will be
a
satiated.
lot of
just with that.
what early 3.0 patches is going to be is back end stuff, which is just
Yeah.
stuff we don't see or larger stuff. But
getting-
the problem is that features need to start coming in, and they need to start coming in faster than they have been in order. Like this year needs to be the year of the features. If we don't see
I think that
cargo
I think the
mining
procedural-
salvage, it's gonna start getting shaky for the community.
I think
Because-
procedural planets will be enough to satiate people for a long time. Just because there'll be so much crap to go and explore.
I agree with you, but I think it's
It'll
gonna
be
have
dangerous.
it's gonna have the Elite Dangerous effect. Paul, you just said it. Like it's gonna be like, oh my god, this is incredible, and then you realize there's absolutely no depth to it.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
I still think it'll be enough to distract people for a while.
oh,
They have to
then
have something.
again,
They have to have something
visually,
else coming.
it'll
but-
be stunning visually. There's gonna be an endless amount of insane screenshots coming out of that thing.
Yeah.
And there's gonna be a lot of really, I think 3.0 and procedural generated planets in the large world and everything like that, and planetary entries and landing, all that stuff, more than anything is what's going to draw people to the game. Some guy is going to see some random video on Reddit of just like some dude doing some crazy shit, and like, oh my god, this is the craziest thing ever. Not really.
Yeah.
And
Thing
once you dig
is-
into it, there's not going to be a lot there until much later.
Yeah, thing is, in regards to comparison with Elite Dangerous as planetary exploration, just how easier is it in Star Citizen to team up with your friends and just go somewhere? I see, just I foresee just people going to a planet and having Ursa rover racers
Oh yeah, no.
on
I
a
mean,
planet.
like-
Yeah,
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
you can't do that in Elite Dangerous
Dragonflies.
forever alone.
no. I mean, yeah, because you can't play in the open world because open world's filled with trolls, and since no one wants to deal with the trolls, they just so there's a lot of problems that Elite Dangerous has that they've yet to mitigate that Star Citizen can mitigate. The biggest problem with Star Citizen, the 3.0 line patches is you need to have content that is procedural, like you said, like having something that you can have these missions that are dynamic that come in based off the needs of the area, as well as having content that is like reasonable content, like enough content throughout the year to keep people interested in the game while they work on other things. And
That's what
yeah.
That's when they have to measure. Okay, we're coming up on the release of 3.0. When is 3.1? Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's
That's
Um,
kind of what I wanted to get to. It that
they kind of
like-
need to, before they release 3.0, they have to understand how long 3.1 is going to take, because then they might have to change things in 3.0, right?
Mhm.
It can't be 6 months between 3.0 and 3.1.
Yeah.
And it's not even reasonable for it to be, because once 3.0 is out, all the hard stuff for this year is done. They have to do the stuff from there is what does 3.1 add? Anybody
Yeah, the
have it up
groundwork
on their
is going to be
screen?
done. Yeah.
Yeah, it adds mining and basic repair, and I
Okay.
think quantum interdiction. Though I think
And
I've
if
heard
you-
some quantum interdiction also comes in at to the 3.0 possibly. So,
Yeah. You can't have
so-
mining without the procedural drainage of planets, and you can't have interdiction without proper, the whole system, and yeah. So yeah, 3.0 is going to be the groundwork, and everything else is probably just going to be a lot easier in comparison.
Right.
Yeah, that's
So-
that's sort of the way that I expect to see it. It's so refueling and escort are also in 3.1, and the rest is just ships. Okay,
And
it
a
needs
lot
to
of shit we don't even know about.
we basically, for them to really start being successful from the community's point of view, I think they need to stick to what they told us. The timing between 3.0 and 3.1 needs to be 3 months, not
It won't
6
be.
or 8.
it won't be.
It
It'll
needs
be
to be 3.
It'll be probably 4 or 5.
It
But-
needs to, but it
it
won't
won't.
be.
Yeah,
Because
no, I understand.
Anytime Chris says a time frame, you add a couple months to it. Just because, and it's not Chris's fault. It's not necessarily the team's fault. It's just that right now
That's just how it works.
It's just how it works because it's a guessing game. Like we're dealing with a completely different type of
Yeah.
project. Even like there are projects like Kerbal Space Program, which took years to get into 1.0. I think is Space Engineers officially released now, or is it still? in
I don't
beta?
think so.
Yeah, I think it is actually.
Is it? Okay.
And you've got games like Warframe, which are still in beta because they're so afraid to call it a release. It's still in beta. Technically, it's still in early
That game
access.
that game's been out for like 4 or 5 years.
Yes, it's been complete for about 2 or 3. Go ahead, Fast Car. You were saying something. I'm sorry about that, dude. I remember that car. Sorry, go ahead.
So yeah, so I just wanted to say that you said we're mostly doom and gloom. I'm not really doom and gloom really, because I mean I'm hopeful that, like I said before, they're working on things concurrently and they'll bring it out as they're completed. I'm hopeful that they do that, but who knows whether or not they're really real. That's
Oh,
what I
yeah,
wanted
no,
to say.
and I agree. I think they do. They are working on some things concurrently, and they always surprise us with more things in a patch than they plan on, than they originally planned on. I think the biggest issue that CIG has had for the last 4 years has been the lack of communication, and it didn't get better until recently. It got worse progressively as 2016 they just stopped talking between May and August. They just didn't say a damn thing. They still put shows, but they didn't. They stopped telling us otherwise, and it was most of the.
Well, I have a
shows
question.
kind of
I have a question about that. Do you think it's because they changed the format of the RTV, which is where we got many of the answers that we have?
No, it's
The questions
because
that we have?
they decided not to talk on social media. Like when Sandy on Twitter and Ben on Ben's Day we get the most information out of those two sources, and not any official CIG sources or even other developers being able to talk. Then you have a communication problem because you're not doing proper
You
communications.
guys Paul, do you remember like oh god, this is almost like a year ago, I guess, maybe like 8 months. There was a whole bunch of drama.
Good news, everyone.
There's a whole
It
bunch of
actually
drama.
works.
There's a whole bunch of drama, maybe like 8 or 9 months ago about Sandy, right?
Mhm.
And like,
Yeah.
I'm not saying I don't have any problem with Sandy. I love Sandy to death. She is awesome. Not here for that. It was about people on Reddit like threw a big fit. I think it was like subscribers or something. They threw a big fit about like content being posted through like Sandy's Facebook, and then like and like personal Twitters and stuff.
Was getting more content than the subscribers were getting. Yeah.
And for like a period of like 2 months, like Sandy totally stopped, right? Because they got the message and they moved to like posting stuff to the Star Citizen Twitter. Now it's back to what they were doing before, because like the drama calmed down, and that's how it always is.
Mhm.
But like, I am of the personal opinion that every screenshot, every quick snap, everything that is being posted out into the wild needs to at least also be posted on the Star Citizen Twitter or on the Star Citizen website.
No, I agree, and I think the biggest issue is that they promised to let us be part of the conversation, and we've not been part of the conversation, and now they're starting to bring us
hunt
back.
down information. We have to hunt and track down information.
And well, I think that's changing. I do think that part of the reason why it's changing is because people got angry about it, and they decided they went into damage control mode. And
The current
if every
trend
single
with-
time we have to go into, if they have to go into damage control mode in order for us to get stuff done, for that it's a problem, because I don't want to have us to be raging, and content creators, like right now, I feel like content creators have the biggest stick to wield in the community to beat upside CIG's head to say, hey, listen, CIG, you need to listen to us doing this, because I feel like they probably don't even listen to their own employees, and sometimes some of the managers are like, no, we're just going to do with this or whatever, and because they're not. I don't know. It's weird, because the community gets angry about things, and then it takes the community being angry at things for like 4 months for them to actually go, oh, maybe we should fix this, and then make a official statement about it.
Their current pattern is they do something, people get mad about it, and then they change it. It would be much better if they just went, "We're thinking of doing this. What do you guys think?" And,
They do that to a point.
you know,
They do that.
They do it. They do
I-
it sometimes about some things, but they
Like
don't do it
ships.
consistently.
like ships. For example.
I think that's too many backseat drivers.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, at a certain point,
You have-
CIG just
you
needs to say,
have
"Fuck you,
to-
we're doing it." But
Yeah.
the problem is not necessarily that. The problem is that they'll say something. People will, in terms of like, hey, we want to know about Squadron 42. Like, they don't even want to like change dynamic parts of the game. They're just like, hey, where's 3.0? What's status? Or let's say, what's the status on 2.6? What's the status on Star Marine? What's the status on 3.0 on various ships? And it becomes a joke in the community.
Yeah,
Like, people are going to always ask that.
But
and they're gonna respond.
that's where the production schedule comes in, and if they continue with it as they have before, I think it's just going to go great.
The production schedules do mitigate a
Huge.
whole lot of what we're talking
Yeah.
about.
Yeah, it
No,
does.
no, they do. Like, it's the best. Honestly, it's the best thing I've seen. I'm going to give them a huge amount of credit here, since we've been nailing them for a while. Probably one of the coolest things I've seen any game developer do in recent memory.
Yeah, I mean,
Especially
I've
developing a large game like this.
I've seen a handful of developers do that in terms of like a production schedule on top of it's essentially a roadmap, but it's a changing roadmap. You see the roadmap as it's developing every week, rather than on a time by time basis kind of thing.
Yeah,
Like,
and we don't even
there's
mind that the end goals every week, get pushed back by a few days, or maybe every second week gets pushed back by a week. But it's just knowing where they are and what's actually being developed, what's actually finished being developed,
Knowing the
mitigates
issues,
a lot of the
knowing
the
what's
issues.
going
Yeah.
wrong, what's taking more time than it's supposed to.
Mhm.
Knowing those things is really helpful. And like
I can tell you right now,
they don't
that-
they don't need to like polish that information. They need to produce a large show to make it easily digestible for us. It's like, hey, here's some raw data. It's up to you to parse and understand this.
Monthly
Good luck with that.
report kind of tries to do that, but it takes hours to read.
And that's
So
the reason
it's-
why we have people like Relay. I mean, I'm not trying to
Yeah.
be like a plug here or not, but there are people like Relay. There are shows like The Base. There's shows
wait,
like this.
What?
There-
Relay?
There's shows like Fortnightly Frontier, like that do a good job of like if you trust the community with the data, people will try to inform other people. It's the reason why streaming. It's the reason why YouTube content creators are very good marketers for this game, is because they can take that raw data, interpret it, and then release it to the masses as a way that they in a digestible format. And CIG is a game company, not a PR company. They don't need to do that. They just need to make the game. And if they need to focus on their community, if they need to rely on their community for interpreting a lot of this data, then that's fine. Like better that we do that than having to spend, to pay for a full-time or several full-time people to do that exact same job and cost more money on that rather than spending it on another
But it would be
program.
nice if they actually came out and said, yeah, we are really swamped actually making the game. We would like the community to actually do the PR for us.
No,
It'd be nice to be asked.
I mean, it'd be nice to be asked, but I don't think. I think
No,
more.
it's not gonna happen,
A
so.
better thing they could do is just simply promote the community members a little bit better than they do,
Yep.
rather than their like the 4 or 5 friends that the like people personal friends that some of these guys have.
Well, Disco did try to do something. What was his show called? It actually had 2 episodes. was it-
Oh, you're talking about the one Disco Lando?
The Wonderful World of
Yeah,
Star
right, that's
Citizen.
it.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah, before he actually got hired on, he was just in a contract at that point.
Oh no! Wonderful World of Star Citizen was after he got hired.
Yeah,
It
that's
was
what I
for
heard.
it was done for CIG.
Okay, because I remember
Because
CIG
we
had
were
him do
actually on
it. CIG had him do it, but it was the first episode. He wasn't technically an employee; he was doing it for CIG.
Oh, the first one. Yeah, maybe that was. The second one was well after he was
he had,
already there.
he had already been a star.
Yeah.
For a while.
yeah.
So I want to mention quickly, like the fact that we have access to the production schedule is why I can tell you right now that, in 2.6.1, they're looking at introducing network bind culling, message ordering, and serialized variable. It's like, this is what I can tell you, this is what they're doing. I can see it right now.
What is all that? What is
Well,
all
I mean,
that?
that's
it
not
is.
their job to explain to us. Their job is to no, it's not.
No.
Their job is to tell us this is what we're working on, and I can tell you this is what they're working on. Now, what that actually means from a high level is, networking is getting better, but that's about it.
Yay! They're reconfibulating the energy motron.
Yeah, exactly.
No, so and
Exactly.
in terms of the positive news about it, is that I think that 2.6.1 will go a long way to stabilizing Star Marine, and Star Marine is probably one of the better aspects of 2.6 because while it's got lag spikes and has its problems, there are plenty of bugs involved in it. It is a fantastic basis that can, and I've seen people who haven't been interested in Star Citizen until the FPS mechanics came in, come into the game and start saying, this is a game I'm going to start paying attention to. I'm going to start looking at this game a little bit more. And I think we'll start seeing more and more people. We'll start seeing more and more outside content creators come in. And when you see those guys come in, it brings the audience to a larger audience. And the more people
And
you get in
can
this
I-
game, the better the game will be overall.
Can I go back to the very first question and I think we'll also see different game modes start to appear for Star Marine. And the one I really want to see is the one they actually pitched all those eons ago, and it was
Paxies.
the PAX East one, yeah. Everybody gets a single life, and it's one team defending an installation against another one.
Mhm.
I want to die, and game over,
Mhm.
because that brings about more tactic and more stealth gameplay, and actually caring about where you shoot and do you want to make yourself your present to the
Mhm.
other team.
And that goes a long way to things like, for instance, people debated about the radar. Should the radar be there? Should it be as
Yeah.
effective as it is? The little like indicators on top of the enemy's heads. Like I personally think that the indicator should be gone and the radar should be a module, like one of those gadgets, so you can turn it on for certain times or like a pulse.
But
You can-
but it also makes you more visible
more
to
visible.
other people.
Yeah. So, or capture
Or
features
maybe
mode,
it's
you know,
like
yeah.
like in Crisis, you actually have to use a pair of binoculars to actually tag a person,
Mhm.
and then you track it
Yeah, or like it's
instead of just auto track.
Yeah.
But then again, it is 900 years in the future. Technology advances, so we're all still comparing what should be done in Star Marine and Star Citizen from a 21st century point of view. A lot of people just don't, take into account that 900 years of progress has been done.
Yeah,
So-
but at the same time, you also have to make a game fun. So, like, at the end
Yeah,
of the
true.
day,
Yeah.
you need to have it so it's balanced. And, like, they said they wanted a tactical gameplay, and we all want the one life dying and I'm not coming back. It makes it a little bit slowing the game down, making things like weapon sway more effective. Like as
Classes, they need to introduce classes like
not-
medics and scouts and stealth people and heavies and shit
yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
that kind of stuff. Not necessarily like strict classes, but having class that can
Yeah.
be filled. Like, hey, you're a medic, you're a
tank.
you're a tank, you're a scout,
Yeah.
you're just a soldier.
Sniper.
Sniper.
Basically, what we want is single life Team Fortress 2 in space.
Well, for me,
without
wanna
the
keep-
forcing you to go in those classes. Like
Yeah.
if I want to be a scout medic, I should be able to be a scout medic. I should.
Oh
be
yeah,
able to-
that, honestly, I don't think any of it should be done through like I am a scout.
Yeah.
It should be like one of the things we're missing in Star Marine that we know is coming is all the equipment. Right? There's tons
Yeah.
of equipment they made that isn't in there yet, and once all that starts to come online, you can kit yourself out to be whatever, right? Light armor with a sniper rifle and a backpack full of med kits, and you're a scout medic.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing is that like the issue is that there's a lot of things that are just not done yet that we haven't seen, but. I do think that there's a lot of feedback needs to put into CIG, and especially since I think generally the community is like, hey, it's good start, but add these small things to make it more tactical
Yeah.
and slow.
Well,
So-
it's interesting too because you can see how much, like from what we've seen previously, you can see how much they've held back.
Mhm.
A lot of things aren't breakable, for example, but we know that they are going to be, and that they have been before. But I think it was causing bugs, so they took that out.
I swear to
Um,
God, just give me Overwatch. Just give me Overwatch Ready Room.
No, I don't.
Oh,
not Overwatch.
break-
No,
I'll break-
anything but Overwatch.
I just want to throw things around. It'll be great.
Anything but Overwatch.
No, the ready rooms I like. The one thing I will also say is that they actually have added things that I didn't find out until last night. For instance, did you know that NPCs are killable?
Oh,
Like
no, I didn't. know.
shopkeepers, if you take them you take them out into the outside of the like safety zones, you can pop them in the head and they'll die, and it's persistent, so they don't their body is gone.
Oh,
Yeah, found that out last night.
Wow.
Until the server
Hashtag
crashes.
justice for Spencer until the server crashes. But that's already in, and it's not just that, but they're
15 minutes
persistent. They're persistent for everyone. So if I'm sitting there moving an
Nice.
NPC out, everyone
Oh.
can see me moving that NPC out.
So
And-
in 2.5, actually, in 2.5, the NPCs were not server side; they were actually just client side. If you were
Yes.
pushing somebody out, it was just on your side. That is actually great news.
Yes, so that's one of those like little things that you don't necessarily. It's not one of those things to go, oh my god, this is an amazing news, but it means that they're moving more things to the server side, which means that it's still as stable as it has been.
I mean, NPCs being moved to the server side makes a lot of sense because it's got to be there for 3.0.
Subsumption.
For
Yes,
subsumption.
Yeah, 3.0, all of that shit's got to be on the server.
guys, I just have an erection.
Oh, that's good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for the
Good.
announcement.
I've had an erection for the past. You can join me.
back
I
before
thought you were looking at me a bit longingly.
Yeah. Go ahead, Fast Cart.
back before Dodgenator had an erection, he was bringing up his sort of gameplay. I'm on the opposite spectrum. Like I want to have one character that lives forever. Like I'm going to be
God mode.
mostly into industrial and marketing and mining and stuff like that. So I just want to keep the same character. I'm not going to be doing the FPS
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Well, so you want to build your own empire and then just have your descendants rise to the position of CEO.
No, he just doesn't want to die ever. He's just
Yeah, I don't want to die.
He's going to live forever.
He's going to be
Fast Cart
that,
is going to
like,
live forever. And
He's going to be the 130-year-old character with the beard down to his feet.
There you go.
Yeah.
And,
So what you
And-
want to do
Oh,
is bring up the
man.
console and type in God mode.
He's actually going to name his character Black Jurassic, and his last name's going to be God, so it's going to be Black Jurassic God. Thank you,
That works.
thank you, Base Jurassic God. Thank you, Base Jurassic God. But overall,
So-
I'm going to move. We're going to be moving on over to the questions here for a second. But does anyone have any kind of final thoughts on what we've been talking about? And
Yeah.
again, I feel like we've been super negative, but at the same time, it doesn't. I don't want to come across as like Star Citizen's a failure. Everything's on fire. It's like no, we just
But it
Hashtag no
is, and
progress.
it's exactly what he's saying. Don't listen to anything past this point.
So I wanted to ask everybody what they thought of this because I'm really not sure what to make of it. In the newsletter this week, the sneak peek is Daymar, right, which is one of Crusader's moons. One of the ones that's not in the PU right now, and it's a beautiful image, but it's a concept art piece. And Dolvac asked me right away, why is it in concept? Like, shouldn't it be done or almost done already in game? So
Oh, it's
I
a
don't know.
sneak peek, right?
So the question is it in concept because that's where they're at, or is it in concept because they're trying to refine the look and they're building it right now in the game?
all right. So it
Or
specifically
where we
says
at?
it doesn't say concept piece. It says concept work on. No, it's visual development concept work.
Yeah.
So that doesn't necessarily mean that it's concept art in the sense that it's just concept. In fact, let me pull it up real quick.
Well, it's visual development. Yeah, they're trying to find the look.
It's
for
not
the,
in engine
the
though.
moon.
It's not in engine. Is the point?
The image is not in the engine. No, it's
No.
it's a concept piece.
I just tweeted yesterday, or it was today. If that is an engine, I'm gonna crap my pants because that is an amazing.
No,
now,
If you actually open that image and you look, you can see like the brushing on it.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you can on most concept art.
I think what we're seeing here with this concept art is more what are the textures going to look like in the final game in terms
Yeah,
of like,
it could
you can see
yeah,
the
it could
colors.
be that the actual ground is their own procedural generated floor or ground for the moon, and then the backdrop of the eclipse, which is why I have a second erection right now, is
Wait, you
something
have two at
that's
the same time?
a concept. Yeah, two at the same time. Yeah.
It could also be an old picture, that they finally released because of the holidays.
Yeah, it could be.
That's what I think it is. I think they didn't know what to release, and they were just looking through Shotgun, and they're like, they haven't seen this.
Yeah, this looks nice. Yeah.
In that case, why wasn't that on like? Why didn't they show it off before this? Like do they have a wealth of information they're just sitting
Because
on? For
Of course they
Just
do.
for this,
Yes.
Of course they
because
do.
for this
Totally they do.
reason,
Oh,
they
yeah.
want a buffer of concept images. We haven't
I get
shown
that.
anything
I
in
get that,
weeks.
but for
Give them that.
random moons, like
Because it's coming in 3.0.
I will say this. I think that CIG has proven that they can go from concept to completion with a world, with like a moon or even a planet in a month. So I have,
Yeah.
and they already have a lot of these planets, like Crusader and a lot of these moons, in terms of their actual like bodies are done. It's just a matter of adding the like surfaces to them or transitioning them over to the procedural tech they're going to be using. So you can actually land and stuff like that. So I honestly think that most of this stuff is probably in some stages of being completed. The biggest thing I think is that's holding 3.0 back right now is the subsumption, because subsumption needs to be in there,
netcode.
and the netcode, because people maybe forget that world that was in CitizenCon with the giant sandworm, including the sandworm itself, didn't exist until after Gamescom. They started working on it after Gamescom. So, and Gamescom was in August, late August, and CitizenCon's in early October. So it was about a month, maybe a month and a half of work for them to do that. Which
For an entire planet with the worm, with the skeleton of the javelin, with the nomads, with the
the
other start over.
The skeleton of the javelin was something else that they like. That was pulled from work on the javelin itself.
Yeah.
No, but they did
talked
say
about
that it doesn't exist before Gamescom.
like it wasn't in the. They were working on it, but it wasn't.
No, but what you gotta remember is like that was being worked on for its own thing, for the javelin itself.
Yeah, I know,
and
but
then they
yeah,
just kinda
but
took it and modified it.
Yeah, but it wasn't an asset that was already waiting for several months. It was done in several weeks.
So and
Several
yes,
weeks before the demo, that skeleton didn't exist.
and yes, there's a lot of that stuff was scripted in the sense that they had scripted events and all that kind of stuff, and they knew that they were going to change some things around. But a moon is much simpler than that planet with all that. It's fucking rocks. Like anyone who's played Elite Dangerous and been on a moon knows it's fucking rocks. Or Kerbal Space Program, it's fucking rocks. It's not that it's not as visually complex.
And then again, the Pandora planet, or the Pandora from Avatar is a moon. So, and that is
but it's
this
got,
particular
just because it's a moon doesn't mean
it's a dead moon.
that particular
It's dead.
one.
There could be some very interesting moons in Star Citizen, but this particular moon is rocks. You can tell by the.
I'm being pedantic
he's being
because I am who I am.
because he's Josh. It wouldn't happen otherwise. All right, so let's get down to these questions because we've been an hour and a half talking. If you guys have any questions, we could talk about Star Citizen for like 4 hours if we really wanted to. It's what we do. It's what we do.
Instead of Endor, I'm sorry. Instead of Pandora, I would have said Endor.
Yeah, because Endor is also a moon. Yeah,
it's cool.
It's a moon of Endor, isn't it? Or is it the moon of Endor?
Yeah, Endor is the moon.
Okay.
The fourth moon.
No. Endor is not the moon. It is the fourth moon of Endor. The thing that they're on in the movie is not Endor. It is a moon of Endor.
Right.
You know what it is.
Question time, folks.
I just want to annoy Paul. Just prolong this. Do we actually know what the name of the moon is? Is it the fourth moon of Endor?
All right. If this was the Force Table podcast and we're talking about Star Wars, maybe, but I don't give a fuck. Let's move on. So for those of you guys who are in chat right now, you can hit !question, !questions, or !question mark, the actual question mark, and you can pull up a link. You ask that question, it brings up a Google form, you fill out your name, the question, submit it, and we will read it live on stream. Now, I will say a couple things. First off, we are not CIG devs. The Relay guys will claim they're CIG devs because they constantly are told that they're CIG devs by the media and everybody else in the universe.
That's what GameSpot thinks.
Yeah, but you should never believe what the media wants you to believe.
No, especially like for instance, never trust Twitch. They gave me partnership.
GameSpot,
exactly.
PC Games, and pretty much everyone else under the sun believes that we are a subsidiary.
You're a subsidiary of RSI, yeah, and they treat you as such. Everyone does. So
also, I just want to say, if you have the exclamation point question mark for the trigger, you should also have the interrobang as the trigger.
I don't know what the interrobang
Nobody
is.
knows what an interrobang is.
No. Okay.
Nope.
It's a combination.
You disappoint me.
It's a combination punctuation between an exclamation mark and a question mark.
Okay.
It actually exists, and it's used when you want to do a excited question.
Yeah, usually we just do an exclamation point and a question in the same time, or one after the other. That's all you usually do. Anyways,
Yeah.
The more you know.
By the way, the fourth moon of Endor is called Tana.
it's called what?
Yes,
Tana.
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 So the
Okay,
Ewoks live on Tana.
Is that how the Reliant variant got its name?
Possibly. Because that is
Same spelling.
the fighter variant, isn't it? It's the fighter variant.
I don't think so because how do I say this? Because all the Tana names are.
Wait, no, I'm wrong.
Are you?
Yes, I am wrong.
Of course you're wrong. You're Dovak. Moving on to the questions thing. We aren't CIG devs, but we will answer questions like we're CIG devs and confirm everything that's said. Number 2 is don't ask stupid questions because we will give stupid answers. I will let Darj regale you with whatever the fuck he wants to say if I answer your question. And if he offends you, I don't give a fuck. And lastly...
Me neither.
Lastly, we may not get to all the questions through this if you guys ask a ton of them, and I do reserve the right to skip questions because there are some things like for Twitch TOS which I just won't talk about, and also things I just won't talk about because of NDA purposes or anything else like that. If you guys ask a question about stuff,
I'll talk about them.
No, not on my channel.
Not on your cat? Wait, not on your cat?
Not on my
I'm
cat.
gonna start playing RuneScape. It's
Yeah.
gonna get weird.
Oh god, it's gonna get weird.
I take my shirt off. I don't know.
All right, so the first question comes from all the way down. There we go. From Cbots chat. Do you think it's my fault you don't have the button yet? Yes, bots. I think it's your fault that I don't have the buttons yet because Twitch was entirely too distracted yesterday. Blinky asks, Papa Dovak, how did the caterpillar taste now that you've nibbled it?
A little bit like peanut butter.
with a hint of vanilla.
The question is,
Okay,
Blinkies, what did
so-
it taste like to you? Because you ate it yesterday or last time.
Okay,
So
so look. If all Star Citizen ships were candy bars, I think that the caterpillar would be like a Heath peanut butter kind of thing. It'd be like a Reese's Pieces. No, it'd be like
the
a
big
Reese's cup,
one.
but it'd be like a bar. It'd be like Reese's
Oh,
Pieces, but like
right,
in
yeah.
bar form. It'd be like that kind of filling. That's what the caterpillar. I don't know the others. I think
So,
like the,
so where are you keeping the peanut butter?
see and like you got your snub ships and those are like mints, right? You got your Merlin and you got your M50. Those are like mints. Those are like peppermints and spearmints.
Hmm.
alrighty. I think
Yeah.
that the
I'm just really
delicatessence
hungry right now. I'm just hungry.
delicatessence message.
So
from
is
Pop
the whole series like corn on the cob stuff
Ooh,
like
yeah,
that?
yeah, yeah. It's,
Yes,
it's definitely
yeah,
corn on the cob, yeah. And the Banu Merchantman is that weird like root that comes from some like subtropical area that you just like.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is going to get me a boner or like feed me. Like what is this? What is this? Why does it look like a?
Hopefully both.
Why does it look like a strange creature is crawling out of the ground?
Richmond is like it's like a
It's like a
turnip.
ginseng root or like a mandrake.
Turnip.
Ginseng root. I know what that is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a parsnip or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Next question comes from Anti. He asks, "Why is my FPS low in the PU? Because of netcode."
Because you touch yourself at night.
Yep. Thank you, Josh. No, but
Yeah, it's netcode.
it's netcode.
That code, yeah.
It's actually just you. Chris Roberts was like watching your gameplay.
Fuck
like,
you, Nancy
"Oh,
Dominic."
man, fuck that guy. And like,
Yeah.
he pushed the
We're
button. that
dropping
lowers
your
the
FPS to 15, and everybody else is getting the FPS you should be getting.
You also
Yeah,
have to. You also have to make
magically.
sure that you do the.
communism.
You get.
Redistributed the wealth.
You have to. You also have to like sacrifice the
system
virginal
32.
goat. You have to do the virginal goat, and you have to do it the right way and the right way. And you can't have sex with the goat. That's what everyone makes the mistake of. You got to sacrifice the virginal goat before you can get good netcode.
Who can I have sex with?
It's
And
definitely a
then you have
goat, not a
sex with the
sheep,
goat.
right? It's not a sheep.
Sex with the
Not a
goat
sheep,
is
a
step
goat.
2.
Yeah.
It's step 2. Like people get that wrong.
No, but do you get sex with the goat or the corpse of the goat?
Corpse with the goat.
Corpse of the goat.
The goat has to be a
Necrophilia.
virgin
That's
before
how you
sacrifice it.
get good
Obviously,
netcode.
the ritual
Necrophilia.
won't work if you fuck the goat first. That's why it's step 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So no
Next
protein in the ritual.
Get it together, man.
next question comes from Zeusanaxia, and we'll go through all this stuff. Best and worst moments from 2016. We'll go pretty quickly. Darj, what's your the
That's-
best and worst?
Oh, Jesus.
Start with worst,
Christ.
end with best. Start with the bad, end with the good.
Worst, you call it a live stream, of course.
Okay. Best.
Best,
It has to be CitizenCon.
yeah, definitely. Oh, yeah. But what am I thinking? Yes, definitely CitizenCon.
You stole my answer. We gave him a hint for it. I was going to say that.
Well,
I met
to be fair, we were all at
met-
CitizenCon, so like that may
met
be all our answers.
that guy over there. I don't think I met this guy. Did I? Was
Yeah,
I
you
drunk?
did.
Was I
he was
drunk?
he was the big dude in flannel, the massive dude in flannel. Like he's like
Well,
the mountain. He's like the mountain from
You
Game
probably-
of Thrones.
And
You
the best
probably
part
have
Flannel
of
Mountain.
CitizenCon- The
Probably
best
have a
part
picture
of
with
CitizenCon-
him that you don't remember.
The best part of
Flannel
CitizenCon
Mountain.
was in no way the presentation. Best part of CitizenCon was like the massive orgy happening at the test house.
Oh
The
yeah.
test house was fantastic. I don't know what you're talking about. Also the
And ramen.
that after party, the
Those
test
are the
after
massive
party,
orgy.
the test after party.
And we're using the word orgy in the original meaning, which is a huge party with lots of food, right?
Yes.
I'm not. I don't know what you're talking about. Maybe you were there. I don't know.
Oh
you
right,
had
it's
a-
the
you had a different
fucking
party.
right.
I
It's the
wasn't looking at
massive
faces,
fucking.
man. I don't know.
Pop Dovek, how about you? Worst and best.
I mean, yeah, it's CitizenCon holiday stream.
Okay. And Fast Card? Same.
I had to start with the best because meeting everyone at CitizenCon, I still miss people that I met there for the first time. As far as worst, I don't really have a worst, but as far as Star Citizen is concerned, but I managed to not see the holiday stream because everyone was capping on it, so I just watched the highlights. So.
Okay. All right. Nakara?
Highlights.
Fast card's lucky. Different answer. Like in terms of overall, my best part of 2016 was CitizenCon because I had a blast there. In terms of the game, though, I actually think I liked Gamescom more.
I can see that.
So
Definitely, yeah.
Like overall, absolutely, CitizenCon was an amazing experience. But just for the game itself, I think Gamescom was my favorite part, and the holiday live stream was a catastrophe. So
It's a catastrophe. Actually.
Yeah. Well, actually, that's a good way to put it. Yeah. So what about you, Paul?
Yes, you never actually answer these questions. You just ask them.
Yeah. Okay. So my worst would probably be the live stream, the holiday live stream as usual. But as everyone else said, because it was like I saw pieces of it, but it was the first live stream I literally turned off. It was the first time in a CIG live stream where I was just like, I cannot watch this. I will watch the review.
I muted it and was browsing Reddit, looking at the reaction.
Yeah.
Right.
And the best, I think, in terms of presentations was the Gamescom, because the Gamescom did the best things. In terms of my personal experience, CitizenCon was fantastic. In terms of gameplay, I think 2.6 is the highlight of 2016 because of Star Marine, because of I had no idea how like the new models, the new character model is fantastic. It's really detailed. The new director mode is amazing.
Have you? And we need the female model in 2017. Damn it.
We do. But we'll
so I wanted to mention, like, have you guys seen there was a GIF on the Reddit where they're actually looking at the eyes of the model and how like the eyes they dilate, they constrict, they follow your view. They have capillaries in them. They actually have
capillaries.
Capillaries. Sorry. They have
he's Canadian.
They have real-time reflections, which I thought was really cool.
Well, it is.
It's amazing work.
Yeah.
It's the same reflections as you get on the
helmet.
visor, which is still still not a real-time reflection. I don't think we're actually ever going to get real-time reflections because they're
close enough.
Well, yeah, they're close enough. You won't be able to see yourself in another person's helmet, but you will be able to see the room.
You wouldn't want to see yourself in another person's helmet just because it would be a very distracting gameplay aspect. Because in reality, you would be able to if it was really well shined and polished. But if you walk up to somebody and you're trying to like see who it is and you see yourself, you're just going to be like, fuck, like this guy is automatically this guy because he polishes his fucking helmet. He can't. I can't figure out if I should shoot him or not. I'm just like
you walk up to someone threatening, and everyone just like they start posing. Just
I have to. Do you shave here? Like what is
who's that there?
Yeah.
You walk up to yourself and say, "Where have you been all my life, beautiful?"
Yeah, exactly. Next question is from Human Evil. Do you think CIG should start ignoring the forum people regards of the flight model as it keeps swinging back and forth and get no further forward because everyone has an opinion? I'm going to start this one off. This is a bigger problem than just the forums. Here's the main issue. At a certain point, you need to sit down and say, we're going to piss some people off. People are going to say this game is broken and I'm not going to play it and I wasted my money. Because you know what? There are unrealistic expectations for this game from the community. There have always been so. Everyone has said it. Everyone said that's, people put their hopes and dreams because it was just a blank canvas and they wanted to, and CIG wasn't willing to sit there and say, no, that's not going to be in the game. They were like, maybe, we'll see. The flight model is a point of contention. I think it's the right way to go. I think in the long run, if they tune it up a little bit.
I like it. And I think a lot of people do. I think the people who are complaining about it are the people who got way used to this flight model in 2.5 and 2.4, like the super elite pilots, and they're salty because they've changed it and they're angry about it. And I think it's actually a little bit more forgiving for new pilots, this new system, because it's slower, so you don't just get up, immediately boost, and then immediately boost into the side of a freaking, Olisar and blow yourself up. You actually have some time to catch yourself. And also it slows combat down, so it makes it easier to catch other people. Lots of other good things. But this is not just a flight. Too many people still don't realize this is an alpha.
I was going to say that.
Yeah, and on top of that, at a certain point,
considering a finished game, we want it to be this forever, and then they change something, and it's like concern.
Yeah, and I know I'm kind of contradicting myself because I said you got to listen to feedback from people, but at the same time, there's listening to feedback, and I think that what I really was trying to point out was that hey, tell us the status on this or this, or hey, this would be better if you changed it like this. Small changes that don't impact the actual gameplay significantly, but have a beneficial effect overall, that's fine. But if someone comes in and to be like, the Caterpillar is not strong enough. Give it 15 more guns. Fuck you. I'm angry because I bought the wrong ship, or I spent too much money on a game that I knew I shouldn't have bought it, but I have poor impulse control. Like, you at a certain point, you just need to be like, fuck it, we're going to release the game we're going to release. You know? And of course, you can always listen to feedback and change things as they go along, but, you know, changing things quickly as they are over time will slow development down. But that's not necessarily a.
It's a hell of a job balancing what you want to do and keeping everyone in the community happy.
But at a certain point, you're just going to have to piss some people off, though. I think at the end of the day, you're going to have to piss some people off.
The reason why they changed the flight model is because so many people gave them their feedback about it, the original flight model.
Yeah, and
it wouldn't have happened otherwise.
All right.
Anyway, next question.
Next question comes from Human Evil again. Do you think with hindsight that CIG should have created a company, the company and the tools before they had the Kickstarter? No, because they had no idea.
No,
they had no idea.
They were happy.
People need to be really clear on this. That plans have changed. It wasn't in 2011, a year before the Kickstarter, Chris was like, okay, so I'm going to start this amazing Kickstarter. It's going to make $141 million, and I'm going to take like 9 years to make the game.
No, they were happy to get two.
It was literally we're going to try and make $2 or $3 million and try and cobble together an alpha of Squadron 42 and then release that and then sort of try and work your way along.
Not only that, they wanted to get.
They were thinking about a studio of maybe 20 people, not 320.
Yeah.
Yeah, they wanted to get like 1 or 2 million, and then they're going to get investors to get private investors to get more money. So not even that.
I think if they went that route, if they had stayed that route, they would have been like Elite Dangerous. We would have already had Squadron 42. It would have been It would have been all right. It would have been great.
I think what you're seeing with Elite Dangerous is exactly it, because if you look at how much money they raised in their crowdfunding, it was about $2.3 million. You know, that's what you get. You end up with a game that it has lots of problems. It wasn't finished when it was released.
Yeah.
It had lots and lots and lots of issues.
Yeah. But it's out. That's
out though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the trade-off. Is it's not out. It starts as it's not out, and it's going to be an alpha probably for another 2 or 3 years, and probably in beta for at least a year after that. We're looking at I think this year proved that it's going to be a lot longer than even the most optimistic estimates, even sometimes even the most conservative estimates would have given them, just because.
Yeah, but how much did a game like Final Fantasy 15 take?
10 years.
How much did? Yeah, exactly. We're still far away from that.
No, I mean in terms of a realistic. Yeah, in terms of a realistic expectation, I think people need to start thinking of this as a MMO of the scale of most MMOs, which are between 5, 7, or even 10 years to make. So
yeah,
but no, you can't go back in time and do that, because they had no idea. Like Chris wanted to do was make a fucking a new Wing Commander game. That's all he wanted to do. And then he thought, man, let's make Freelancer 2 on the side. He wanted to make Freelancer 2 and Wing Commander, what is it, 4, 5? No, Wing Commander 5.
5.
Yeah.
5.
Yeah, that's what he wanted to do. That's all he wanted to do.
And you know, if you've been around for a long time, pay really close attention. You've even heard the rumors that, you know, in 2012, around that same time, he was trying to buy the Wing Commander license.
He was, yeah. Apparently.
So, you know, if he'd gotten it, pretty much guaranteed what you would have gotten is Wing Commander 5.
Yeah.
Which would have sucked comparably.
Yeah.
Oh, it totally would have. But that was, you know, that was where his mind was. Is he was trying to make Wing Commander.
Yeah, and I agree with
it's changed.
It's like the original pitch was Wing Commander, and then this weird little multiplayer thing.
Yeah.
It would have been Freelancer 2. It would have been a multiplayer Freelancer,
yeah.
which you know, a little bit more focused. But
just updated to the times with some new stuff. And yeah, that sounded great at the time. They were all pitched for that at the time, and we totally bought into that. But the thing is, most of the people who would buy into that pitch of a new Wing Commander and a new Freelancer and all that stuff are also the same people who share the dream of this thing.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing, is at the end of the day, we're still getting something better, and I would prefer to have something better and bigger and something that would last longer and have much more of an impact in the gaming community as a whole. Because a lot of people don't understand, because it's been so long since this game's been in development, is that if CIG is successful in doing everything they want to do, it will fundamentally change gaming forever.
It already has.
It already has to a degree, but
I mean,
right now,
space games are back, and I
Because
think,
of-
I think a large part of the reason they're back is Chris Roberts.
Right.
This whole
the success
thing-
of the project.
Yep,
It's the
totally.
success of Star Citizen.
because without
Would we have
Elite
Space
Dangerous and
Engineers
Star
or
Citizen together.
Astroneer or Adrift or
well, let's
Alien
think about
Isolation?
this. How long does it take for a Call of Duty game to be made? About 3 years, right?
Yeah.
So 3 years ago was what? From 2016 to 20 because of it just released the
30,
latest Call of Duty.
2013.
2013.
2013,
So
which is when their funding exploded.
exploded, right? Yeah. So what do you think? A bunch of Call of Duty devs went to Activision and were like, "Yo, space is fucking hot right now. All right, Star Citizen's blowing up. Let's get on that money train. Let's get on that space train, yo.
Let's make
do
Call
it."
of Duty Infinite War, or whatever the hell it's called.
Yeah.
Like, how do we get
That's
on
what it
board
was.
with
I mean,
that?
guarantee you, they were like, Star Citizen's blown up, Elite Dangerous just blew up, space is in. Let's ride that hype train. Let's get on that hype dick and ride that all the way to climax. You know?
Yeah,
Space Sim
but
fans, had been like as a fan base, Space Sim fans have kind of been suffering for
Hugely.
what 10
You get some
years?
2D, you get some 2D games. You get games like
Yeah, you
Rogue
get some
like Rebel
cool
Galaxy,
things.
which are not bad, but
Yeah.
you know.
Actually, can I tell you?
It was great.
And-
It was
and
great.
X-
and then like
X was
we've
eh.
been waiting, and the anticipation had been there, and like it's just been growing. This is like critical mass, and Chris Roberts is like, I don't make a space game, and the floodgates opened, and like that's what happens.
So and
I mean,
that's- go ahead.
I have to. I have to
Like, one of the ways I found Star Citizen was, I think it was like a month before the Kickstarter, or maybe 2 months before. I literally was scouring the web trying to find a space sim game, and basically what all of the web told me is there's nothing good
Yeah,
that's
There's-
been made like there's been nothing in a decade that's been good.
yeah.
there's X, but you said there's nothing good.
X sucked. The latest X series sucked. You know,
And
The
so-
last really good one was Independence War 2, Edge of Chaos.
And I kept sniffing around, and then eventually I saw Star Citizen on Kickstarter, and I was like, was someone reading my mind or something? Like, I've been desperately searching for a space sim for like the past couple months.
But I have to give them that due. There was EVE Online, and that's been going on for like 13 years now.
Yeah,
but it's not really. It's not really a.
Eve is
not a
Eve is more of,
sim.
it's more of an RPG than it is a sim.
It's
it does,
a weird game.
it's a
I don't even know
It's
if
a
you
hybrid.
simulator.
It's a hybrid of a space sim RPG, like an MMORPG, and
And Excel.
and a sim,
For many
and like a
people,
traditional sim.
that's what gave them that space sim or feeling fix.
I understand that, but for me, it never really did anything for me. I found that a lot of the way that the game systems were set up were really obnoxious in Eve. I have a huge respect for CCP and Eve because of their longevity and their ability to
Oh,
continually grow.
and their community is
Um,
say what you want about the Eve community, is that they're toxic or if you love them. At the very least, you can say is that they're fucking effective. All right, like that
Oh, yeah.
community has survived for 10+ years.
And if you actually look at the chart of their active users,
There
it
is.
goes straight. It literally is a constant climb for like 12 or 13 years.
They've
And
not stopped. Like everyone's
No,
like, oh yeah,
no.
Eve's gonna die. It's like Star Citizen's gonna kill Eve. Star Citizen's gonna kill
Nope.
Eve. Like Eve players will always come back to Eve. It's like World of Warcraft. They always come back because they need that.
Then they
balance,
was free to play.
you know. Yeah.
So the but it really didn't do it for me. It wasn't really a space sim. I didn't feel like a space sim to me. And so I was looking for this game, and it wasn't out there. Space sim fans were horribly underserved by the gaming industry for like 10 years. And now I think there's going to be a huge number of them coming out.
Yeah. No, for sure.
Eric, to what you're saying about Eve and like CCP, isn't there like actually a no? I'm not. Look, I've never played Eve. I'm not super familiar, but I kind of follow like some of the community sometimes.
Yeah.
Isn't there like some position in CCP which is like some guy who was like elected by the community?
Yeah, that's true. CSM.
Yeah.
There's
Community.
like they actually have like a representative. He's not really a community manager, that he's just like, hey, your job is to be like the representative of the community, like the voice. Hey,
No,
That's
it's
maybe
a
something
group.
like that.
It's a
Yeah,
group.
yeah,
It's not just
it's
one
like a group.
person.
Yeah, I knew
Yeah.
something like that, but it's like maybe we need something like that.
No, what you
I
don't
thought
need
about that.
You don't need that. You know why? It would be 90% Test Squadron.
which is
That's true.
And I'm part of Test Squadron. I love Test Squadron. Like at least 3 of us in this table are Test Squadron. We don't need that because like at the very end of the day, what the biggest problem that Eve has is that the goons rule everything, and because they rule everything, they
no, not anymore. Not anymore.
No,
the
I mean,
goons,
they have a huge. They have
goons have been quarantined into like their own little section of space.
But the problem is that they have such an influence on the developers that it becomes whatever the goons like gets added rather than what's good for the best for the community. And it's not always that case, but that's the
It's
problem.
not always the case.
We don't want that to become what's Test. We don't want that whatever Test wants is going to become part of Star Citizen.
No, because Test is just people hanging out.
I'm just imagining Captain Richard getting everything he wanted in a gun.
Oh God, butts!
Oh,
all the
God.
butts and crotches.
No,
No, but
don't let that man touch
Paranoid.
anything.
Questions.
so yeah,
Next
moving on to
question.
questions. Sorry, that was a huge question. For what was the question?
have no idea.
It was in hindsight. Do you think they would change anything? They should change anything. They should have changed stuff. We'll move on, but yeah, no. Next question comes from: do you think no matter if Squadron 42 is finished now or in 10 months from now, do you think they'll hold off on releasing Squadron 42 until a new Star Wars film, so they could piggyback off the link between the new media? No, I don't think they'll wait for a new Star Wars film. That's
I don't think they'll wait.
that's
I think
waiting
if
for
the
one
timing-
ad. Waiting for one
think
ad
if
is
the-
stupid.
No, I think if the timing works out perfectly, you'll see it. But,
Yeah, if.
if I actually don't expect it to anymore, I
Right.
think that
Yeah.
I think they were really gunning for that with Rogue One, but then it slipped hard.
If-
And
Yeah,
That was-
if it had made it to Rogue One release, that would have been a fantastic, perfect combination because Rogue One is that more gritty, realistic kind of Star Wars experience that people have been wanting since Empire. It's PG-13. It's the only PG-13 Star Wars film other than Revenge of the Sith. It's the only it's kind of doomy and gloomy to a degree, and it's a lot more like the heroes aren't really heroes and that kind of stuff. So that would have been more of a good like tie-in with Star Citizen
Yeah.
than a traditional like Star Wars because it's
Yeah, Star Wars, Disney princesses and heroes and knights in shining armor is basically just a fantasy movie in space.
yeah, it's more of a fantasy movie in space, and that's not really what Star Citizen's really going for. It's to a degree we got that feeling, but you know,
I'm actually fairly happy that they didn't advertise that they didn't make their Rogue One thing because fuck that movie.
Dovek,
Oh,
you're
yeah,
wrong
fuck
as
Rogue
usual.
One.
As usual, you're
Fuck
wrong,
Rogue
but
One.
now you're wrong. So you know.
The Force
Yeah.
Awakens
It's wrong.
is incredible in comparison to Rogue One, and I didn't like The Force Awakens. So just
Dovek's
sue me.
wrong.
Sue me. It's a bad movie.
Dovek's
Bad-
wrong.
I don't know the names of any of the characters in that movie.
He's wrong. He's wrong. He's wrong. All right. So next question is: do you think CIG should name name and shame cheaters in the same way they name and shame people who got banned on the forums under the tag with their pictures on the forums? I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Go for
Yep.
it. Like at the end of the day, they shouldn't be beholden to anybody, and you know, there's not a hug box or cuddle box. I don't think CIG should have that. I think CIG should be. They've said that they want to be raw and unfiltered. Do it. Like if people get pissy and people get butthurt about it, I don't care. But
don't cheat.
just don't
Yeah,
cheat.
just
Don't be a dick. Don't be stupid.
It's not that hard. Don't cheat.
Spencer asks, "Do you think Crusader Suitor is far too harsh?" Spencer, how are you talking to us from the dead? You're dead, Spencer. You got killed by Crusader Security. And yes, hashtag justice for Spencer. Crusader Security is too brutal, you know. Landing gear down, don't shoot. Next question comes from Denistrim. Which 3.0 patch do you think we'll actually get by the end of the year?
The Carrick one. I just want the Carrick.
Are you talking about
The
the 3.0 series of patches? I think is
Yes.
what Dan
Yes.
says.
He's asking which one we think or which one we want. 'cause
Which one
thinking
do
we
you
want to do.
do we think we'll actually get? I think we'll get
Up
to
until,
2.
you mean?
Yeah, I think we'll get up to like 3.1 or 3.2. I think 3.1 for sure.
3.2 definitely, 3.3 maybe.
Eh.
Yeah, I think they might get into 3.3 as the Christmas patch.
Mm.
Maybe. That's if everything else goes well this year.
Yeah.
I don't.
Paul.
The funny thing is, at CitizenCon, so that was like 3 months ago. At CitizenCon, 4.0 is supposed to be out in 2017, and it's already like,
Right.
nope, there's no way.
So my prediction is 3.2, but we'll see some carryover from 3.3 and 3.4 and the others in 3.2 as well. Whatever is ready.
Paul, previously I asked you, do you want to take a bet whether Squadron 42 is going to be out in 2017? 'Cause
I will.
you
I
are
will
quite
buy
adamant
you.
it's
I will
not.
buy you. I will buy you a 6-pack of your favorite beer if it is out in 2017.
That's expensive.
Well, I mean, within reason. Let's say a $50 limit for that. Okay, a $50
Okay,
limit
cool.
for that.
Yeah. Okay, and if it's not, what, a bottle of really good scotch?
Yeah, bottle scotch. That sounds good. Okay.
Cool.
Okay.
You have a
Okay.
deal.
There we go. Yeah.
Access to the
Internet
next
shake.
test orgy.
Yeah.
That's
Access to the next test orgy.
So someone clip this. Someone clip this just to make sure that they got it on record and stuff like that. So yeah.
I'm a man of my word. I'll do it. And I want to lose this bet because I want to see it out in 2017, and I want to get.
Correct.
I want Darge to be drinking that 6-pack of beer while he's playing Squadron 42. But
we had
We'll
the
see.
question earlier: what does CIG, what does Star Citizen need this year?
Mhm.
I really, 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 really believe they need Squadron this year.
I don't necessarily think they need Squadron. I think they need 3.0 for sure. I think Squadron, if they show off a vertical slice, a demo, maybe have a playable demo, that would be
considering
enough.
they've said that they've basically scrapped the vertical slice.
No,
and
the
they're not
vertical
doing
slice
it,
is done, but I mean,
so-
like a vertical slice meaning like, hey, let's take an actual finished, let's finish an actual.
like a
Oh
demo.
yeah.
Yeah,
The vertical
Yeah.
slice they wanted to show at CitizenCon was like a hack job that they
was-
were doing just for CitizenCon, and when they realized they weren't going to do it, they just scrapped the whole thing.
Well, I said this before. Everyone said, "Oh no, that's not a vertical slice." But like every vertical slice ever in the history of gaming that I've seen has been mostly a level in a single-player campaign with some extra stuff added that wasn't in that level because they wanted to show off some other mechanics. So I guarantee you, like that level probably didn't have any FPS, and they added some FPS in there from another level because they wanted to show off the FPS maps as well as everything. So I guarantee there was some kind of compromise there. So and it came down to it that was breaking something, that wasn't right, or the animations didn't work out properly, and it became too much of a hassle. So they're just like, "Fuck it, we're just not going to worry about it, and we're going to actually make the goddamn game," which is fine. It's a good decision, but they can't go radio silent unintentionally, I guess, like they did with this year. They have to tell us. They have to talk to us about something. So the production schedule would be a nice.
It'd be really nice to see a production schedule for Squadron.
Yeah, I know a lot of people are like, no spoilers, but you don't. It's not spoilers.
There's
if
no
they're like,
spoilers in there. It's
If
technical
you're
stuff.
not, yeah,
I want to
if,
know
if
where the
you're
game's
not
at.
actually telling us what's actually happening in Squadron 42, just where the different mechanics are, where
there's
the
like
AI and
AI's bugged. The mission 3 is not completing properly. There's not some whatever. Like that's not spoilers. It's just like details about little
exactly. I mean,
things.
it's gonna have mission 3, whether you know what's happening in it or not.
Mhm,
So yeah.
exactly.
No, I don't think CIG bought anybody out.
What's the
No.
question about?
There was someone said it like, didn't CIG buy out a company for about $1 million?
No, you might be thinking of Foundry 42 because like that's kind of what happened, but not really. No, they didn't
Foundry
buy
42 is a subsidiary
company.
of CIG. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all has
a
been. Yeah.
whole bunch of in like what? Oh god, 2013 is
Yeah.
when that all happened. The Crytek was having a lot of financial instability.
Again, the first time, I mean.
And basically they kind of swooped in, opened up a new studio. They didn't buy one out, but then they pulled.
Which
a
one
lot of
though? The
people-
UK or the Frankfurt one?
Frankfurt.
Yeah.
And they pulled a lot of people from like Frankfurt, Crytek,
And Crytek, yeah.
and they were hired there. But no one was bought out.
All right. So no. Okay.
Oh yeah. So look, when it comes to like actually like, do you think like it's necessary for CIG to get like something out the door? I do think is very fundamentally important. Not necessarily like financially or anything, or for like us, the community, but for their perception in the gaming community at large. For CIG to get a finished product out the door, regardless of what that is, in 2017.
So what you're saying is, come bugs, high water, bullshit, we need to get get it out. Because it's better if it's released in buggy than it's not released at all. Because if it's not released at all, then you lose forever.
If it was released in buggy and they fix it within a month of release, then I think it will be better than
not releasing at all.
Than them missing and going to 2018.
2018.
Not for me personally, not for the game community at large, not for the Star Citizen community, but for their perception as a company, as in a gaming community, and
for the Kotakus and the polygons and shit like that.
And as much
as
it
might sound overly optimistic, but it would do a lot for Star Citizen and Squadron 42 if it's a good if they can nail it down and Squadron's a really good game and it does really well, winning a couple of Game of the Year awards, or
it's a PC game.
Getting a bunch of really positive press would be huge for this game, because there's not been a lot of positive press, frankly.
No, and the community itself is actually kind of sour. Like CIG, almost every time it goes up for a
we're
vote
bipolar
online,
is what we are. We're not sour. We're bipolar.
Well, no,
I
but
don't know about
so
that.
let's look at the thing. Let's look at this. Star Citizen has won almost like every time they go up for like an award of like most anticipated or something like that, which all voted. Star Citizen has won pretty much hands down the last 3 years a lot of those games. This year they didn't win any of them. I think they won the Golden Joystick Award, and that was it. Golden Joystick Award, and that was it. Everything else has been completely a wash from other games. And it was games like fucking... I can't even remember the games. It was a couple games, like most anticipated, were like of 2017, which was like a bunch of games that were all console games, not PC games. And the reason why that was is because they didn't vote. Like, we just didn't vote en masse like we usually do, because the community is more like at this like kind of stage.
Because right now the community is pissed off. If they had showed us Squadron 42 at the holiday stream, it would have been completely different.
Mm-hmm.
See, and instead of saying bipolar, I would have said maybe we're more like an anime girl character who's tsundere or something like that.
We ebb and flow. We ebb and flow. It's just like any kind of relationship. You have ebbs and flows. Next question comes from Auntie. Do you think they may add maps to Star Marine in the gaps between patches this year as good filler content? I think if we get a 3.0.1 patch or 0.2 patch in contents, they may add those, but I think we're probably stuck with the Star Marine maps for the rest of 3.0.
But how long have we had the only 2 maps in Arena Commander and a single map in the racing?
Well, I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that they're still building a lot of the workout for like the technology behind the instancing and all that kind of stuff. As 3.0 comes finishing, we're going to have a lot of that stuff done, and we've seen how quickly they can make assets like that.
Because of that exact reason, I don't actually. I have no expectations for new maps, because they always said there would be new maps for Arena Commander, and they just never showed up. So I'm assuming
it's not the same people who are working on the backbone for the instancing that are actually working on the assets for the maps. I mean, they could just make the planet a different color.
No. Like, for instance, if you took, like they said, all of the things in Star Marine are going to be actual locations in the persistent universe. If you just take sections of a planet and turn that into a Star Marine map, people would play it. Or sections of a station, like make Port Olisar an Arena Commander map,
Or they could just take part of a Caterpillar and part of a Starfarer and combine them and make that a new FPS map.
Yeah, like a boarding, they're kind of linked together. Is there stuff like that they could easily port in new assets and mess around? But at the time, they also want to make sure that they have good flows and there's no like the one thing that that Star Marine maps are fantastic about is that there is no dead ends. There is no dead end in a Star Marine map. They're all flowed together. Even if you have to go to EDA, they all flow together.
Something that's bothering me about Star Marine maps is because they say they're supposed to be actual locations in the PU, but if you look at them from the point of view of like a functioning space station or a satellite, it makes no fucking sense.
No, I mean a lot of that area is also it's a small section of it. If you look at them, there's also a lot of sections that are attached to them that you don't see. So, like for instance, Echo 11 is an abandoned. It's like Grimhex. It's an abandoned, cobbled together space station, which actually is in lore. It's like a place where a massacre took place at some point. Station Damien makes sense as like a transit hub, which is what it looks like. It looks like a transit hub where like
but if you look at the layout of what is actually available in Star Marine, it's laid out
like
for
an FPS map
for the combat.
Yeah.
Instead of an actual station or whatever it is that okay, maybe we can go and shoot people in.
I mean, that's kind of what Crusader Security is, or Korea is. Korea's it's kind of like that too.
Yeah.
But it's like, and I expect that to happen in the universe because you know what? It's a game. If all of our stations look like FPS maps, makes sense. Anyways, moving on. Southern Jumper asks, do you guys think we might see some animals in 3.0? Some form of animals? No. Probably.
Sandworm? I think Sandworm because it's already done, but
before 4.0, yeah, probably.
Not 3.0.
In 3.0, there might be like a surprise. They might throw a few things in, but nothing major. I wouldn't expect it.
None of the planets are natural like forest or like a typical world. Hurston is a polluted dead world. Crusade or Hurst Microtech is frozen. Arc Core is just a big city planet, and Crusader is a giant gas giant.
Yeah. What is the planet they were showing off in the CitizenCon demo then?
That was it's from a different system.
It's from a different star system. It's called the star system is Lear, and that system is that planet was Lear 3.
Right. Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
So where I think you might see something like that is on Microtech, because even though it's frozen, it's not necessarily a dead planet.
We're gonna see a Yeti.
I want to be wandering through the frozen wastelands and see a Yeti on the horizon and like.
We're gonna see the Yeti from Star Wars.
Or a caveman in solid ice in a cliff.
That would be awesome.
But you can't get to it because you don't have the welding tool yet.
The paw.
The paw, which I like as a nice subtle nod to Repair Bears. I'm glad they didn't completely run away from Repair Bears.
Indeed.
All right, next question comes from Kudak. Are you worried about how detailed the planets will be, whether or not they're going to be worth exploring? Kerbal Space Program is got some pretty damn bland generic planets. But they have enough content in the planets that you can shoot for, enough Easter eggs and little things, that it makes the planets actually interesting, and you can actually move to them pretty quickly. I think the generic procedurally generated content will actually, like little abandoned homesteads, maybe some small actually populated homesteads. That stuff is going to be enough to make it interesting, while you still have large procedurally generated trees or like in terms of Microtech is going to be a big ice ball, be a giant ice ball. But you'll see probably little research stations popping around in some areas, some people trying to eke out a living, maybe not in 3.0, but in later patches, and that will make things more dynamic overall. So I don't think we're
or ice cube miners for the Scotch industry.
Yes, exactly. The Scotch industry, the intergalactic Scotch or interstellar Scotch industry needs its ice. It's pure Microtech ice. Next question comes from the Grizz. Do you think the ships are purposely being made confusing to make them feel larger?
No.
What?
No, it's placement.
No.
It's just how they.
It's just the way they are. If you don't want to have like the simplest of simple things, if you want to have some sort of complexity, you're gonna get layouts that maybe don't make sense when you first look at them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When it comes from.
Even the most confusing ship in Star Citizen right now, if you run around it for like 10 minutes, you can understand where everything is.
Also, if you look at the floor or on the walls, there's plenty of signs showing you where you are and where other things are.
But you actually have to figure out where you are?
Like, if you've ever been on a military ship, even a mothballed military ship, and you try to walk down those corridors, shit's confusing if you don't understand where you are. You can get lost pretty easily. Especially the larger the ship, the more confusing it gets. So get used to it. You want to get on a Bengal, you're going to get lost 14 damn times trying to get through a Bengal, unless you know exactly where you are at all times.
I think that's actually not going to be as bad in Star Citizen because like they're not designed to be 100% efficient. They're designed to be kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
So like, you're in like a large military ship. Everything looks the same, right? And there are going to be interior like spots in like the large ships like Bengals. Oh my god. Not waypoints. Oh my god. Areas of interest. Oh god, what's the word?
Points of interest.
No.
Close enough. Yeah.
What is the word?
Reference
like
points?
Statue of Liberty.
Oh, monuments.
No.
I think I know what you're talking about, but yeah, the word it's right there.
Oh, S. Oh my god, what am I talking about?
In the meantime, while you're trying to figure that out,
Okay. Anyway, the point is that like you're walking through a Bengal, and you like it's not gonna be like
Landmarks?
Landmarks.
Landmarks.
That's the one.
No, you said S.
I don't know.
with the S at the end.
There are
Landmark.
There are like landmarks. It's like okay, there's not gonna be like an infinite amount of rooms that look exactly the same like an actual real life ship would be. Like you're not gonna be able to like mistake the missile bay for like the main hangar, right?
Yeah.
And like okay, I'm here clearly, so I just go up and I can hit the bridge. Like,
For a lot of
oh,
larger ships like that, I hope that we're able to bring up an internal map on a mobile
Yeah,
glass.
exactly. Yeah.
Like that.
I was
works.
going to say that
Yeah.
Mobiglass is going to have to have a "You Are Here" app. Yeah.
And I do want to say this: never understood why the female character model was so sought after. Has no one here ever seen a female before? The reason why it's so sought after is because you'd be surprised how many women who play this game who are waiting for female character models to actually to get them to vote themselves. The one thing about about MMOs is that they are probably one of the most diverse populations of gamers in terms of male to female ratio. There's a lot of women who play MMOs, and Star Citizen is banking on being an MMO, and there are a lot of women out there who are interested in playing MMO. Look, I mean, all you got to do is look at the number of women who are streaming the game to know that there's probably a ratio of maybe 1 or 2 women for every 10 men who stream, which is if you look at games outside of like League of Legends, that's a lot. Especially considering the ratio of women to men in streaming.
Yeah, and I was talking to Grey-Headed Gamer, and he said that the only reason Mrs. GAG isn't in the game
exactly.
yet because there are no female models.
This is part of the reason why my wife.
Our current, like, as far as I know, the most current census that I read, we're still at only about 4% of all players are women. And I think a lot of the reason is because you can't be a woman in the game.
Right.
Yeah.
As soon as the female model comes out, your citizen number is going to explode.
Also, you'll see a lot more people who are active in those polls because once the female model comes out, those women will start actually paying attention to those polls because those polls, even though it says 4%, that's how many people have replied. And that's we have no idea how many women have bought the game and are just like, I'm waiting for the female model to come out. And there's also the dudes. We're also saying that like, the dudes who play females. There's a lot of people who are like, I want to play my woman, or whatever. But that's fine.
Are we talking about China right now?
We're not saying that like suddenly overnight the active population is going to like double or anything. But there definitely is like a section.
It is an important aspect of attracting female players to the game,
and it's also an important PR thing. So you can run off to the people who are bitching about like diversity in gaming and be like, we have diversity in gaming, we have women.
Hashtag diversity.
Yeah, well, no, like Scott Manley did an entire fucking video on the fact that they have black character models in Star Marine. And how that's good. And a lot of people are like, why do you care?
Scott Manley can go sit on these two.
Oh, God.
Wow.
Tell us how you really feel.
You know what, Darj? I'll echo the statement. I'll echo the sentiment, all right?
He started off as a very unbiased and impartial personality, but then he just, got on the who shall not be named bandwagon.
He's severely misinformed most of the time.
Well, he's a goon. That's the honest answer. Is a goon. But at the same time, he made a big deal about it. And like when someone like Scott Manley, no matter how you feel about him, he's got a lot of pull in the internet. Like his videos get millions of views.
Unfortunate,
I'm sorry about the background. The people are cleaning up the snow in behind
It's
my
okay. You're good. But yeah, no. So like, So it's an important aspect of the game beyond just, oh well, I want to look at titties. It's like no one's like, I want to look at titties. Most people are saying, hey, I want to have my representation. I want to be able to play. And I know DJ Knight, even he's been like, yeah, I'd like to have a black character model. I understand why there's not, but you might even see
Also,
more people.
Not from like a cultural or like sexual or like racial diversity standpoint. I'm not talking about it, but just like a visual diversity is actually kind of nice because it's kind of annoying looking at the same guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not going to have different heights and builds, but actually just having a different skin color and faces will.
Well, actually, I mean, the female character model actually isn't the same height as the male.
No,
she's
well,
shorter.
we're talking males. All the males are going to be the same build and height.
Right.
So,
For now, yeah.
for now, it's
I
like
mean,
it's
I
like
don't-
in
I don't-
Skyrim. I mean, you got every woman from being 20-year-old to being 7-year-old has the same body, just a different texture.
Yeah.
It's like the body of a supermodel, but with added wrinkles.
Yeah, no, that's the creepy part.
Yeah, I don't mean to surprise people, but my character will probably be black. So
Really?
yeah, exactly.
Really?
My character is
No.
probably going to be the result of me hitting random a few times, going, "Ha, that's fucked up."
What's gonna happen is I'm gonna spend 4 hours making my character, and he's gonna end up looking
Oh, yeah.
like Mexican me, because that always happens when I make it. It's just I look like Berserker, like El Berserker, like Juan Shelley, is what I'll look like rather than me. 'Cause I don't know why I do it. Every single time I do a character creation, it always ends up like that. But
Also, how long until we get the same thing that happened in Fallout 4 is how long do we get like slider settings for different celebrities?
oh god, yeah, no, we'll see, but I don't know. Next question comes from Chowderfist. What do you think CIG is most likely to delay to release or in an unsatisfying way, or what system do you think will be most glitchy? I think they're more likely to release Squadron 42 come hell or high water than they are, and they're probably more likely to release glitchy patches for 3.0 will probably be glitchy and buggy and may
Oh my
have
god, 3.0 could be on fire for it. It's going to be great.
the crash counters will return. The crash counters.
I actually
will return.
don't think I don't think the live version will be too bad. I think it's going to be in
PTU
Evocati and PTU for forever.
months.
Oh,
People,
wow.
Forever.
I got roasted on Reddit for saying that it's going to take 2 months in Evocati, a month in Evocati and a month in PTU, and they're
Oh,
like,
yeah,
"That's
you-
fucking unrealistic. Fuck you. It's never taken a month in a
3.0
PTU."
is-
I'm like, and we've never had 3.0. We've never had landable planets and shit like that. This is the biggest damn update we've ever had. Expect it.
It's going to take a long time.
Yeah.
He's like, "Hey, this mountain's just upside down." I don't know. There's going to be a lot of that for a while. This ocean
Planet
is
inverted itself.
entire
You know?
atmosphere.
Why is the ocean in the sky? And why are the birds at the
The
bottom? of
ocean
the-
is the entire atmosphere. I don't know, dude.
Mm.
I spawned in the center, the core of the Earth. I guarantee you, people are gonna be clipping into planets and falling into the core for
Oh, yeah.
quite a while.
Oh yeah.
I spawned inside the sun.
Yeah. I flew into the sun and didn't die. I am currently running around on the surface of the sun.
CERN.
Yeah,
You almost had me. Yes, yeah, I flew into the sun and my aurora didn't explode.
yeah, exactly. Next,
I flew into the sun, and now my character's black. What the fuck?
It's just a tan.
oh, it's
And
just-
a female. That one wasn't the
yeah.
that's the real surprise.
Oh god. Next question comes from Atrium. I feel like there's a good number of ships, but based on the scope of the game, I feel like there's intended to be a lot more ships. Do you think that now that their tools are in place for planet sculpting, as the universe is being finished, we will we'll see a flood of ships as resources redirected closer to launch? How do you think this will affect the web store? And more precisely, do you think if they don't offer those ships for sale, what do you think? Do you think it'll leave a bad taste in the backer's mouth?
Can I get a TLDR of that question?
Okay, he wants to know is as more ship as people are doing as they're focusing more on planets in the system rather than ships, that they're going to put some ships away and not actually release some ships until like right before the release. And do you think that'll that'll piss off people?
No, because they have ship teams that work only on ships.
Yeah,
yeah.
That's all they do.
I was
The
going to say
ship artists, yeah.
ship pipeline is efficient as fuck. Like, holy balls, is that thing
Not only
efficient as
that,
fuck.
I got to tell a lot of people this, and I don't think a lot of people actually read this part, but all of the ships from Squadron 42 are essentially done now, and that is their biggest ship team, was the people who are working on those ships. They're all going to be rolling off of that team onto all of the other ships that need to be made. So
Yeah,
there's a
expect to
reason
see a
we're getting the
lot
big
very
ships.
quickly.
The Banu Merchantman, the Carrack, there's a reason we're getting
Yes.
those this year.
Yeah.
And like, here's the thing.
Reclaimer too, which is gigantic.
Oh yeah.
Orion.
But I want to
I
get
can't speak for everyone else, but me personally, I really like when they don't sell ships. When they're like, "Hey, here's a ship. We're working on it. We're not going to sell it." Like I like the F8 Lightning, like ships like that. I want more of those. And as we go forward, I would like to see more of that.
There's only two of those, like the F8, like you said, and the Hornet F7A.
Mark II.
Yeah, and those, and then like Hornet doesn't really count because we have Hornets.
Okay,
Yeah.
fine.
And then like the Vondel ships are like not sold, obviously.
We also have Xi'an ships, which I'm sure will show up in Squadron 42, and Banu ships, which we haven't seen.
Banu ships as well, yeah.
And like we're like confirmed that we know that we're getting a new Banu ship at some point.
Mm-hmm. We're getting an entire Banu line because we're gonna. The Merchantman is just like the basis of a line that they'll be working on for a long time.
And like with like the Jean stuff, like they built that basic Jean thing with the Scout, so we know Jean stuff's coming down.
Yeah, we know that the Void bombers in game.
Wow.
We probably know that there's a couple capital ships in game that we haven't seen yet.
There's been a bunch of it's mostly old, but there's been a fair amount of capital ship and other art for Xi'an ships. They're coming. They're just way down the line.
Like people don't realize. Go ahead.
Concept. You had the first model of the Xi'an Scout in the very first demo, or the pitch video for Star Citizen Squadron 42, and it was like, what the fuck is that thing?
I mean,
And it has nothing to do with what Xi'an look right now. So
And like remember, you gotta remember that like spoily doos, like in like oh my god, a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago, in that big gigantic leak thing.
thank you, Jared.
it's not Jared's fault.
There was straight
Not
up
Jared's fault.
there was straight up a giant ship called Jean_Ghost Ship. And it's a model of a big ship thing.
Is this
Spoiler.
the vertical one?
He said spoiler.
Yes.
He said spoilers beforehand.
Yeah.
He said spoilers.
And not that everyone hasn't seen it, because like that the thing in that model is like a version of that that vertical concept art that you see in figures. It's just that like no one knows what it's called.
It's the
just
Void
like
bomber.
The
It's
vertical
Vulper.
brass knuckles.
It's the Vulper. It's the Vulper that they said they were being making for a while. The
I
Vulper bomber.
don't think that is. It's not the bomber. It's like a vertical stack capital thing.
Yeah,
The one I wanna
looks
see
it
from
looks
the
like brass
Xi'an?
knuckles.
The one
Yeah,
I
I
want
know
to
what
see
you're
from
talking
yeah. The one I want to see from the Xi'an is they released a series of concept art like a year or two ago, probably 2 years ago, from the Xi'an cargo ship, and it is fucking massive. Like the interior of it looks much larger than a space station. It's enormous. Like almost like anybody watched Independence Day recently?
The new one.
Which one?
No, the old one.
Okay.
The interior,
but I remember.
they're flying through the interior of,
Yeah,
it's
of the
huge.
ship, and
Yeah.
it's just enormous. Yeah, that's what the interior looked like of that Xi'an cargo ship. It was just enormous.
Wow.
So whenever we see that ship, it's going to be pretty incredible, and it probably won't be for sale.
Yeah. No, it probably won't be. You'll be able to buy it in the universe, but it probably won't be for sale.
Yeah.
And
Wow,
I-
Find it or steal it, but
here's the other thing, and I think Twerk brought this up this morning in his stream, and I think it's something to talk about a little bit, but we're way over time at this point. We luckily,
Yeah.
luckily,
almost 2.5 hours now.
yeah, luckily,
I need to go pee.
luckily, we only have a couple questions left, so this is one of those things that I wanted to bring up and see you guys' stuff, and then we'll finish up the last couple questions. Is that go pee, Darsh? Just go pee.
No, fine.
Okay.
Right here.
Fine.
Don't leave, but still pee.
I have a
Let's get this stream going, dude. You want the invitation test party? You gotta commit.
Oh
Go with
God.
the questions.
So he asked. His big thing was, there needs to be more penalties. There needs to be more consequences for death and for dying
Yeah.
in Star Citizen. And his concept was you die, you lose ships. Period. Like you can't get them back. It doesn't matter if you're insured or not, or all that kind of stuff. Or you can't you'll lose parts of your ship because you can't insure all your sick ass weapons or cargo, and that you need to like take some of the Care Bear elements out of insurance and make it a little bit more damaging. I disagreed with a lot of that, not because I disagreed with the concept of having more risk, just that what the biggest problem is, and I think straight up the biggest problem is going to be, is that a lot of people purchase ships thinking that
with actual money.
with actual money, and then they believe that because they have ships with actual money that they shouldn't lose them ever.
Right.
Yep.
I was gonna say, if I paid $250 for my Banning
Well,
Merchantman,
honestly,
Yeah, I don't want to. Yeah,
if you have
it's
ship,
a
if you
goon
have
bullshit.
ship insurance in the game, and that's the game mechanic, is that if you have insurance, you get your ship back. I don't see why this should be like, oh, this time we decided not to honor your insurance policy, and you don't get your ship.
They will do that if you become a pirate, though. They've said that you can get insurance from pirates, but if you decide that you spawn in your LTI with your LTI Idris and you immediately turn around and start blowing the fuck out of Port Olisar,
and they said
and then you die.
They said that there'll be a contingency against insurance fraud and stuff like that, like you said.
Yeah, and so there's a lot of discussions about that. I think the biggest way to do that, however, and I've been intentionally playing the game more like it's planned to be in 3.0 than it is right now. Like going off, refueling, rearming, that kind of stuff, is adding medical fees. It used to be, when 2.0 first released, it had a death penalty. You died, you respawned, you had to pay UEC. And that wasn't when the first release, but it was like when the first persistence actually came in, when money started coming in. You had a death penalty. You respawned, you had to pay your medical benefits. And playing the game now, if you add that in, which is the last loophole of just saying, fuck it, I'm just going to blow myself up and spawn a new ship because it's free, that shit is going to suck. And having ships spawn...
What if you don't have enough money?
Then you're
You don't
fucked.
get to respawn.
You never respawn.
No, you respawn,
Game
but you're in debt. Like you have to.
Yeah.
So like you
And
can't.
the more in debt you are, the more the fees roll up and the interest.
And then there should be a cap on it, just because otherwise it's bullshit. But at the same time, like at a certain point, you need to make it so that, hey, don't fuck up again. Go do some go run around All-Star and do some fucking like security missions where you set in front of fucking you're bored out of your ass.
The more in debt you are, maybe the police come to you and say you're in your turn to do some social work.
Yeah, exactly.
If you want to get out of your debt.
Exactly, like boring
You have
shit.
to run first aid supplies to so on and so.
Yeah, or sit in front of fucking the Cubby Blast store for 10 minutes, so you can get like 2,500 AUEC, like just something like that. So you you're a security guard. Your job is to sit there and make sure people don't do shit, but you have to sit there for 10 minutes.
You can go to the Star Wars Galaxy route and put it dancing as a profession, and you can earn money that way.
Yeah, that's my point. Is that like you need to be able to do something. Like there needs to be punishment to the point where you lose money, and you have to do boring shit, or you have to do something else other than just being able to get in your ship and fly away. Because that becomes more of a fuck. I can't fuck up because I don't want to have to like spend 30 minutes.
But I think that will come with the dynamic missions like we discussed before.
Exactly, and I think that's the biggest issue.
No,
Novak, he left. He lost. He lost.
He's
back. All right, next question. Where can I find Fast Cards Channel and WHP for life? WHP is paperless. You are paperless plebs. You think you have papers, but you don't. Just saying. Shots fired.
What is going on?
WHP is Dan Giesling's group, yeah. And Test and WHP had a brawl in the buggy ass Port Olisar, or buggy ass Korea a couple of months ago. So I threw it at you, Roll Grenader. Gauntlets cost. Deal with it.
And as far as my channel, you can just click on my name and
or you
I'll
can
type something.
Or you can !podfollow. You can actually get his Twitter. I don't think you don't have a YouTube, right? You usually just are on Twitter and on the base.
Yeah, mostly yeah.
Next question comes from Sea of Shrooms. Are you happy with how shields
Question.
work? Yeah, go ahead.
If I just put in Podfollow and neither of my two Twitters are in there,
You want me to put your Twitters in there? I
yes,
can.
please.
I have
Meyer.
I have
Meyer
Myers
in there.
There's Meyer, and Meyer's not here.
Yeah, but he for Fortnite Frontier because that's your
Well,
main
yeah,
content
but
stuff.
on Twitter it's Fort Frontier and Darionator as well.
Okay, I'll put that in there.
Thank
But the question, freaking, there we go. The question is, I'll let you guys discuss this. Are you happy with how shields work currently? And if not, how would you suggest they change them?
Not really. I mean, they're all right, but they're obviously not finished by any means.
And they're very susceptible to lag because sometimes somebody will be shooting you in the front and hitting your rear shields or shit like that. So yeah. That's what I need to fix.
I actually think that even just the visual effect for shields needs to be fixed somewhat because it can be very, very hard to fight through it. Like if you're getting
And
shot
you
in
can
the
get
front,
bugged.
you can't see anything.
Yeah, I think that's a bug, actually.
And no, I don't think they're finished. I think that they've come a long way from the first iteration of Shields, but still lots more work to do, like the rest of the game.
I think what a lot of people don't realize is that 2.6 is a lot of work in progress. Like before, we've had some stuff that's finished. Like 2.6 released, half finished with a lot of half finished stuff.
Are you saying
that was
Star
turned off.
Citizen is a work in progress?
But I mean, in the past, like we would get something where we would get a kind of complete-ish mechanic in there. You know, like Reputation was basic, but it was basic and done. Now there are completely ships that you just can't even do shit. Like you can't even change your power settings at all. You can't do any kind of decision because there's stuff missing from the HUD that was there before. So it was the first time we've actually seen stuff that's just been taken out. It should be in there now, by the way.
Yeah, I just saw, and I was just timed out.
Yeah, why did you get timed out?
What the fuck?
By Diablos. I don't know why he timed you out. He was just being a dick because he couldn't say pod follow. So
I did. Somebody else did.
no,
Yeah,
Diablos didn't. Diablos is he's being salty. You're a salty motherfucker, Diablos. All right. Next one is from Royal Grenader. What ship should we be looking forward to?
Should we be looking forward to?
The
Do you
Dragonfly.
really want my answer for that one?
Carrick?
Me? It's a weird question. Which one should we looking forward? The one that I am looking forward to is there's a couple, but the Prospector in 3.1 because I own one and I can't wait to mine. Reclaimer 3.2 and Carrick 3.3.
I think the answer is all the ships. I mean, like there's I don't really think there's no ship specific that is like we should be looking forward to with 3.0. The only ships that you can look forward to seeing in 3.0 are the Aquila, the Dragonfly, and the Ursa. The Ursa comes with is a rover. It's not a ship. And I don't think.
Can I be pedantic a bit?
Yeah.
It's Aquila.
Aquila.
Oh
Whatever.
God!
No, it's Aquila because it's Latin, not Hispanic.
No, I'm
Tell
gonna call it
that to
Aquila.
Chris Roberts, okay?
Yeah.
He
Like,
doesn't
is
even
it
know how to
Aegeus?
pronounce Aegis.
Aegeus,
Idris.
Idris. Yeah. All right. Last question comes from the Night Rider.
What? Who? What?
The
Nightmare?
Knight Rider. The Nightmare.
okay.
The Nightmare. With 2.6 flight speed changes, how do turrets and use feel to cast members? So, like, how do you feel about turrets with the flight changes?
Well, turrets got a lot better.
Yeah, a lot more manageable.
They lock down to gyro stabilize, so they now gyro stabilize based on your position.
Not all of them.
Not
Some
all
of
of them.
them do.
Some of them do. Some of them are still. I think not all of them have the tech, but the Connie turrets do. Connie turrets.
And the Caterpillar turrets.
The caterpillars do. Yeah, I don't know if the I think also the what is it? The Retaliator. I think the Retaliator's turrets do as well, but not the
Yeah,
Vanguard
I
and not the
think-
Freelancer.
And the Super Hornet is still fucked up. I
Yeah.
tested that. But no, like
So it's
they got a lot more
meh
manageable.
situation right now.
I think it's a good.
They've moved from complete unusable to like, it could be better.
Yeah, it's not bad, and I think as you go along, I think you'll start seeing people who are like, I think really what they've done is they said now turrets are somewhat usable, but they still take skill. You don't just stick the dude who doesn't know what the fuck he's doing in a turret because you're gonna be down to a gunner essentially.
Yeah,
So
but that's what they should be. Just like piloting the ship and hitting target, managing a turret should take skill.
yeah, no, and everything, and the idea is that there is no throwaway job for the noob. Like if you got a guy who only wants to do FPS and he's not good at anything else, then you're sticking him in the cargo bay waiting for someone to attack you, like that, or to drop him off. Like you don't put him in a job doing something else.
He can look out the window.
Yep, and wave. That's
Yeah.
Alrighty, guys. So that's
at least the emotes work.
the emotes are fucking fantastic.
Yeah, I was just gonna say something in regards to the turret. I saw a demo for what is it, a Kodi eye tracker or something like that, and that I believe is going to be a very good thing for the turrets as well, because it will let you kind of manipulate where you look and where you point at different times, and especially for piloting as well. So I think I actually might get that. I wasn't that sold on Track IR, but that thing looks really cool.
I have Track IR.
I'm a Trek IR user. I actually never have used Star Citizen, but I use it for Arma, and it's kind of necessary for flight sims.
I will say this: if you played Elite Dangerous with Track IR, it basically is you never can play Elite Dangerous without it. So I think Star Citizen
for most games that if you really get into Trek IR, like if you lose it, you're like, fuck. Because I remember I used to be super into Arma, like Arma 2. If you want to fly in Arma 2, you better have a damn Trek IR because. But what it all came down to is it really heightens awareness, and when you have like your one hand on your keyboard and your one hand on your mouse, sometimes you need to be able to do things and you don't have a physical input method to be able to do them with, and that just adds that. And it's a little hard to learn, but once you learn and you have the muscle memory, it's second nature. It's great.
All right, so that's it for us tonight. Please follow all of these wonderful people on their Twitters and on Twitch and YouTube. They are fantastic.
Wait, we're ending? We're not going for 2 more hours?
Fuck it, we're doing 24 hours. Captain's Table. No, we're not.
Yeah, all right, let's go. Okay, we're now.
I can't do it.
We're going to go over.
I can't do it.
Go over every aspect of Star Citizen in 2016.
Let's talk about the hard shit. Come on.
So January.
Oh my god. No, I can't. Listen. Relay. You guys managed to do that fucking 12-hour live stream or whatever you guys did for the launch, and I was like, Jesus Christ, how did you not just reiterate topics for fucking 3 hours there? I mean, yeah, we could literally. We all play a lot of Star Citizen and get a lot of info. We could literally talk about Star. I could end this podcast right now, and we could still be talking for 2 more hours about Star Citizen off cast. But
which is exactly what's going to happen.
I mean, we may do a long Captain's Table at some point. I may, since I'm not going to, I'm probably not going to be able to go to CitizenCon this next year because it's so far away.
Oh, come on!
Well,
I will.
jobs.
It's like a 7-hour drive for me.
Just get to the East Coast and then pedal.
It's an issue of time off of work.
If you ask, I don't know if it's still in, but if you ask Google Maps how to get from like New York to Paris, I think at one point it was getting a kayak and pedal.
Yeah. But we'll probably do something like that in the distant future, but not anytime soon. Anyways, thank you guys for hanging out with us here tonight. If you guys, please do hit that follow button if you have a chance to follow all these wonderful people. You can find this on YouTube later, and if you are watching this on YouTube, you can catch us live every Saturday, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, 11 p.m. GMT, for about 2 hours. And hopefully you're listening to this on Podbean. I haven't been able to update the stuff for the Podbean yet, but I'm going to do a lot of the back end stuff because Podbean is like you can upload once every 24 hours. So I gotta go through and upload one unless I want to pay money, and I don't want to do that. So again, thank you guys for hanging out. Like I say every night, hope to see you guys again soon. But if I don't, hope to see you someday in the black. Have a good night, guys.
Good night.
Good night.